A very warm good afternoon to all of you who are streaming live, and to all of you who have gathered with me here in IISC and from the schools, respective schools. I welcome you all to this program of Lake 2020, which is a conference on ecosystem goods and services, structure, and its functions. Okay, so here we are starting a journey of Lake 2020 for two different schools, that is Vagdevi Vilas Institutions and KK English School. So I welcome all of you to this orientation program. We will be starting the program in another 5 minutes. Before we start, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction about how or what we are expecting in this orientation. So here we are going to discuss about various topics, the basic information about those topics, and how you can gather information about those topics if you are interested to do a project on those particular aspects. Okay, so I want all of you, the students especially, to write down the interesting things that you find during the experts talk. All right, I hope you all are briefed about the different sessions that are going to happen today. So you can just go through them and write down all the different questions that come up, different points that you want to make note, and then you can comment those questions in the comment section in the video, and we will be answering all of them or clarifying any doubts at the end of the session. Okay, so I welcome all of you once again for this orientation program. We have Harish sir from Vagdevi Vilas Institutions, Chairman. I welcome you also, sir, for this program. And we also have Mr. M.A. Khan from KK English High School. Due to some emergency, he has just stepped out, and he has sent us a video of his message to all of you. So we will be sharing that in a short while as well. Okay, so now to begin with, I would like to tell you about the projects. Every year, some of you might have participated in the previous conferences, but most of you are new, I was told. So what you need to do is you need to think of ideas from which you can make out a project. Okay, and what we are looking for is not copy paste, but your own work, your own ideas, your own analysis, your own interpretations. Okay, so here, after we discuss all these topics, at the end, later I will come back and talk about the different formats that you need to use to make your project. Okay, so this year, usually what we do is we have a lot of primary projects. We encourage primary research projects. Primary research projects are basically where we ourselves do the field work and collect the data. However, due to the current situation of COVID, we all know that we cannot step out of the house very comfortably. So we are encouraging secondary research projects mainly. But if you have a beautiful garden in your house or school and you want to do a survey and you want to make a primary research project, you are very welcome to do it. However, if that is not possible, we encourage you to do secondary research project. Now, when we say secondary research project, instead of you doing the field work, somebody else has already done field work. What I mean to say is, there are a lot of people who have done surveys in their respective areas and published papers or articles and in various journals. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to access those information, collect them. So that is like, instead of we doing field work, we have got the data from somebody else. And using that data, we have to do a particular project. We have to put our ideas in and do an analysis and interpretation of the data that we have accumulated and make a project out of it. So this is secondary research project. So as I told, due to the COVID situation, we encourage secondary research projects this year. So you have to think about all these ideas from where you can source the information and how you can make it into a project. Okay. Now, we normally get a lot of projects where, say, for example, if we are talking about energy, if you are interested in doing a project on energy, a lot of people come and present their project as to what is energy, from where we get energy, and what are renewable and non-renewable sources of energy, and also the different modes from where it can be generated, like solar panels or windmills, then ocean currents and things like that. What we are looking for in your projects is not that. What we want is your analysis. Say, for example, if you are doing a project on solar panels, then we want to know uh, if you have solar panels installed in your school or at your homes. Then, after installing, what is the difference of energy consumption from the grid in your home or school, and how it has helped you and people around? So, these are the kind of information that we want. So I hope this part is very clear. Why I am stating this in the right at the beginning is because we have a lot of students come up and present just the general information about various aspects. So what we are looking for is specific information. So by saying this, I once again welcome all of you to the journey of Lake 2020. And now we'll start today's orientation program. So to begin with, we have Harish sir, who is the chairman for Vagdevi Vilas Institutions. So I request Harish sir to address the all the audience who are streaming live from their homes and schools. Sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir. Namaste to all the friends from IISC, Dr. TVR, who is the key person behind this lake conference, and all to the young friends of Vagdevi School, KK English School, the future scientists and future Bhagirathas. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Audible, yes, sir. So if you all have seen our Vedic scriptures, we have scriptures for all gods and goddesses, and there is one scripture for Varuna Devata also, Varuna Suktam. We have identified Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, all these great rivers as the goddesses. And Indians knew the importance of water, and they knew that through the water only the life can exist. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Khammano Buddhirevacha Ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtada. God says that I manifest myself in the 8 forms. And he says that first is Bhumi, the earth, and immediately next to earth is Bhumi Rapaha. Apa means water. So I exist in the form of water. Lord Krishna says that I myself exist in the form of water. You just imagine, without water, without liquid, whatever I eat, that food which goes to stomach has to be transported to every nooks and corners of the body. And it is the blood which is in the liquid form which will help. Okay. So finally, that liquid form which is basically initiated, they say that 70% of man's weight is liquid and water. So similarly, for the life to exist, water becomes very important. So this lake conference, which has been happening for several decades, so it is a biennial event. I'm very happy, glad and proud of Dr. TVR and his department, all the scientists, because whatever happens in IISC in between the laboratory, they have tried to bring it to the schools, colleges, and to the young students who are going to be the future scientists. Because only when we understand the importance and the relevance of water in our life, we start focusing on that, we start conserving that, we start preserving that. So you all know that you have studied water cycle in your LKG, UKG level, you start the water cycle. Then again in the primary school, high school, again how the water cycle is, you would have studied. The water which is in the seas, it evaporates, the clouds carry it across the globe, all nooks and corners, and it will come in the form of rain, and it will flow in the rivers. But there are very few natural lakes, and there are many man-made lakes. Here lake becomes important because man understood the importance of lake, and he has also built many lakes. So if you see our own Bangalore, we had around 300 plus lakes in Bangalore, because Kempe Gowda and his predecessors, who actually learned the importance of water, they came to know that any city can grow only if there is a water source continuously available for the city. So there is no river immediately next to Bangalore. Kaveri is around 100 to 125 kilometer away minimum, near Mandya where it flows, 125 kilometer away. Beyond Kanakubara again 100 plus kilometers away. So those days there were no electrical pumps to carry water. So they saw that Bangalore gets around 800 millimeter to 1000 millimeter of rain every year. And it is almost at a height of 3000 feet from sea level. And if they properly harness the water and build lakes, built in Bangalore, and they gave importance for building around 300 plus lakes in Bangalore. And similarly, if you just go across the length and breadth of Karnataka, especially, Karnataka is known for beautiful network of lakes and the tanks that have been built by man. And I'm sure that in the other parts of India also there are enough of lakes built. But Karnataka especially and Bangalore especially has got beautiful network of lakes. And I have done extensive study about lakes in Bangalore. And one lake in Ramurti Nagar called as Kaudena Halli Kere, when it was auctioned by government for a private company, I stood firmly. I took out one report which was put to the government, generated by an IAS officer. It was called Lakshman Rao Varadi. Lakshman Rao, who was the Bangalore BBMP commissioner 40 years back and a very celebrated IAS officer known for his administrative skills. Under his leadership, a committee was done to study the lakes in Bangalore and how to preserve them and what is the relevance of lake. Lakshman Rao, he gave out beautiful points. He said that lakes in Bangalore and around Bangalore were built by our ancestors with a very great scientific knowledge. And he told that lakes help in maintaining the temperature balance of Bangalore. Lakes help in improving the underground water table. We all put a borewell. Where does the borewell gets water? Only when the lakes are filled with water, we get water in the borewell. And he says that because of the lakes, we get lot of aquatic life. Birds from across the globe, they travel, fly all the way. They come here. So they help for the ecological balance. So such a wonderful report given by one IAS officer, Lakshman Rao. It was just put in the dustbins. And I'm very happy and proud that I again brought it out, fought for saving Kaudena Halli, Gangadhara Bhattana Kere. I went to first the High Court division bench, then the High Court single judge bench, High Court division bench. And I fought and won the case. And again, the opposite party, they went to Supreme Court. At that time, I was saying around 30 plus years. I was not having enough of resources like what I have today. But still, with the help of friends, I went till Supreme Court to save the Kaudena Halli Kere. And at that time, Supreme Court very firmly made a rule, no lake in India to be closed, especially in the metropolitan cities. So my dear friends, why I am telling all these things is the conferences like the lake conferences which are happening. Somewhere I am connected practically, not just for the sake of participation, because anything is useful and meaningful only when I participate kaya, vacha, manasa. Manasa means participating at intellectual level, like the paper you present. Kaya and Vacha means physically trying to protect it by all means. So we should not only present our papers the lake conference, we should become the lake warriors. Only then we can preserve the lake. Preserving lake and water bodies is like preserving our own life for the future. In our own school and in most of the schools and most of the in and around Bangalore, you must be knowing the groundwater, which was easily available at 60 to 80 feet depth, has gone to a depth of 1,500 feet. When the first borewell was put in our Vagdevi school, Marathalli, Munekulalu, the depth of the borewell was only 140 feet. We got beautiful yield of water at 80 feet depth because the backside, the wetland right behind our Vagdevi school was preserved. Wetland was beautiful. Varthur lake was beautiful. All the lakes were intact. And as the soil filling started and the wetland was taken away by some of the land developers for making the layouts, we saw the immediate repercussion that the water table, the groundwater table, it and it has gone to a depth and beyond. So this throws light that you may build 12 stories, 20 stories apartment with 1,000 dwelling homes. But if there is no water, there is no life, isn't it? You cannot purchase. One tanker of water had become 1,500 rupees, 2,000 rupees, and at the peak season 5,000 rupees. And if there are no water bodies, the real estate value also will immediately fall down. All are interconnected. So my dear students of both KK School and Vagdevi Law School, I want you to study in depth. Preserving of the water starts by the students. First, you have to be aware about the importance of the water bodies, especially in Bangalore, the lakes that have been created by the man. The Manas Sarovar lake in Himalayas, it is a natural lake. Like that, we have got thousands of naturally made lakes. But in the city areas, our ancestors, they studied how the natural lakes are there, and they built 500 years back, 800 years back. There have been histories. The Hesarghatta lake, which has built more than 300 years back. So these are all the lakes which started supplying water to the Bangalore, which kept our life happening in Bangalore. So if city has to survive, the water bodies have to survive. The main water body for the city has been the lakes. So I'm very happy that Dr. TVR, popularly known as TV Ramachandra, he is very vocal in voicing his concern in preserving the lakes. First, we have to preserve the lakes, ensure that they are protected through the boundaries are put, and ensure that there are no effluent put into the lake, and only the treated water should be let into the lake, and ensure that the aquatic life of all the fishes and so many thousands and thousands of aquatic life, known, unknown, everything, they live in the lake. They keep the balance of the aquatic life. We should ensure that. Once I have seen some of the elders telling in Munekolalu, they just go to the backyard in the field, they could take water and have the water directly, it seems. There are people who drank the water, the flowing water which was flowing into the Varthur lake, directly they would drink it. It was so clean and pure. Today, without RO, nobody can drink water. We have reached that state. Earlier, all the water that was available anywhere around, even the tap water was more than or better than RO water. So these lake conferences should ensure that the quality of life improves only when the quality of water improves. It is directly proportional to the quality of water. If the quality of water is good, that means it is an index for quality of air, quality of the life around us. So the lake conference should ensure that the quality of water increases and thereby the quality of life increases. So I once again thank Dr. TVR and all my young scientists there, Vrijulal and all his friends, Bharat and all the friends, and the future young scientists of class institutions. This COVID season, we have built 4 RCC tanks, each one which can contain around 5 lakh to 8 lakh liter of rainwater. So it is a small lake by itself. So totally 25 lakh of liter we are able to harness. So life is to be proactive and implement. Just knowing is not enough, we have to implement. Just willing is not enough, we have to do. That is the meaning and that is the purpose of this lake conference. Let us be the lake warriors, water warriors, improve the quality of water, improve the quality of life. And thank you for this chance given to me. I wish all the best to all the participating students. Thank you. Vrijaylalji, back to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for those words of wisdom and your journey and your experiences and about Lake Conference as well. I think TVR sir would like to add something for what you have told. So I welcome Dr. TV Ramchandra sir to hand over the session.
Yes. Namaste, sir.
Yeah, namaste. Yeah. Good afternoon to everyone. Just now you heard the importance of a lake and a lake ecosystem, how it helps in sustaining the life on the in the region and on the earth. You know, that's what aptly Dr. Harish Krishnamurthy has brought out. And a similar kind of discussion we will have it during the symposium. And this event is being organized once in 2 years, essentially to understand from the youngsters how they look at this ecosystem and how to manage that so that we can have a better ecosystem for our next generation. As Harish has rightly put it, Bangalore topography is undulating, taking advantage of this undulating terrain. Earlier rivers and streams were flowing in Bangalore terrain. Our elders put the bunds and converted that into lake. The today Bangalore area is 740 square kilometer. In that 740 square kilometer, we had 1452 water bodies. And the Bangalore receives a rainfall of 700 to 850 millimeter. We get about 15 TMC of water, and all this rainwater was stored in these water bodies. That's how the regional requirement of the water for irrigation and domestic was met through this rainwater. Today, because of concretization, we have lost the water bodies. Over a period of last 4 decades, the Bangalore, which had a 68% green cover, today we have only 3% green cover. And the concretized area, which was 3% in 1970s, today is 94%. And if this trend continues, by 2025, Bangalore landscape will have 98.5% covered with only concrete. That means we will see buildings everywhere, but there won't be a drop of water to drink. This is what youngsters need to understand. This is what the next generation of the decision maker need to understand, so that to sustain the water, we need to maintain the ecosystem. That is the purpose of this event. This year theme is on ecosystem. How the ecosystem structure is, because of the structure, what kind of functions ecosystem can do. As a students of science, I am sure you all have understood how the ecosystem functions. There would be, the hydrological function, nutrient cycling, and biogeochemical cycling. All these are linked to the ecosystem structure. It is something similar to if you have 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and ears, you can do certain work. If that is one of the thing is remote, what can be done? Today we are in that situation where we are trying to understand how the ecosystem is getting degraded and how that is affecting our sustenance of food and water in the system. So we will try to understand this further. So now with the words from Harish, we'll move to the next talk by Mr. Khan, M.A. Khan. He is a principal of KK High School. So he has been with us in this journey for the last two decades. From 98, we started this symposium. So from 2000 onwards, Mr. Khan's school is actively involved, and Vagdevi institutions have joined hands with us in the last decade, and we are all as a partners. We are taking this message forward so that youngsters who are attending this event, we are hoping that they'll become a sensible citizen. That is the kind of asset we want to give it to our country. The India requires healthy citizens. India also requires a sensible citizens. So that's where capacity building happens when we have this kind of deliberation. We look forward for active participation from the youngsters. You have to understand the concept. You will have an opportunity to interact with the experts from international and national. At the same time, you also have an opportunity to do your presentation. In that regard, to have an effective presentation and knowledge dissemination, we are organizing a series of orientation program. So we have conducted a similar program in 4 or 5 locations now. Now today we have an opportunity to interact with the students from Vagdevi institutions as well as KK High School. Now with this, I request Mr. Khan to say a few words about the symposium.
Good morning. Happy morning to all of you. I should congratulate you for being a part of this symposium, the late 2020. I should also congratulate you that you are more concerned about the environment around you. You would like to be a part of it, and you have taken up the responsibility of making a world a better place. Therefore, first congratulations goes to you on that account. The second congratulations that come to you is all your other friends who are having a gala time at home, spending their time using their mobile phones to play games, then their TV sets to watch their serials and films, and spending most of their time at home enjoying life. You are to be congratulated because you are the change makers. Like all your other friends, you could have also stayed at home. But no, as a warrior, you have taken up a mission to help and support and look around yourself in protecting the environment and also understanding how and what it is providing you. Therefore, pat on your back that you are different from your other friends. My dear friends and students, let me tell you at the outset that environment is a very huge concept. All that surroundings, what you see around you, everything is environment, the physical as well as the man-made environment around you. Most of the resources that are provided to us are from nature. So we use these resources for our development. If you look at the aspect of environment about 50 years back or 100 years back, no one told you about environment pollution. It was not there as a prescribed subject in a textbook. You ask your father or grandfather, did they learn anything about environment protection? Or were they familiar with words like environment pollution? You will get a negative answer saying that no. Why is that we at this stage in year 21st century talking more about environment and environment protection than anything else? Have you ever questioned it? Yes. You are on your war path to find out the answer for this question, what I said just now. But at the same time, you need to understand that we have created this pollution. How did we do that? We did it by overutilizing the resources that are available around us. What nature has given, some of those resources can be replenished, can be brought them back. But some of them we cannot. You have already studied about it in your science classes. Now the question that comes to our mind is, the resources that we find around us, how are we going to utilize them? Do we really need the way in which we are using them? And if are we overusing them? We need to question ourselves. The answer that you will find of this question is, yes, everybody is talking about environment pollution, protection of environment awareness, for a simple reason that we are overutilizing the resources and we have created pollution. So, a balance that had been maintained by nature for centuries together, we have thrown it into a disarray. Now, we need to pay for that. Are we paying? Yes, definitely yes. Now, the next important aspect that I would like to talk to you about is the theme of this Lake Symposium 2020, where we talk about goods and services being provided by nature. Now, what are these goods and services that are provided by nature? To understand that, let us first understand What is that which is available in nature which we are utilizing? We have land resources, water resources, forest resources, so on and so forth. Every piece of land that we have, we are using it to grow crops, to build roads and bridges, to build our houses, to build multiple complexes, etc., etc. The rivers, we use the water for irrigation. We also use the water for drinking purposes and also for navigation to carry goods from one place to another place. It's the same with the oceans also. Now, all these resources that are there, these resources are giving us something for us to live. What is that they are providing? They are providing us the services. Now, what is our duty now towards to understand the replenishment as well as the protection of these services? If you look at the scenario in 21st century, you will come across that we are polluting the air more than what we have not done in a century, in a matter of just a decade. What had not changed for 100 years, the change has come in just 10 years. The way in which we are polluting our water bodies, though if you look at that, it is a very scary scenario. We have done, take for example, the lake that is very close to where I live in Varthur. The lake is highly polluted. But even then, it is providing a source of income for a lot of people. The people who stay around the Varthur village, Ramagandhalli, Siddhapura, Tobrahalli, Balagere, some of the farmers are still using this water, though it is polluted, to grow vegetables, to grow greens, and other things. At the same time, the water hyacinth, the weed, as well as the alnenthra weed that grows in plenty in Varthur lake bed, is used as a fodder for cows. Every day, more than 15 to 20 tons of this fodder is taken away from the lake. So even a polluted lake is providing us a resource, a service. Otherwise, the same farmers, to buy fodder, they should have spent a lot of money. So when we did a small survey to find out, through Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, we understood that the Varthur lake, which is highly polluted, is also worth more than 30 crores per annum, the kind of services it is providing. Imagine if the water to be very clean. Imagine if the lake were to be pristine, unpolluted. That would have helped quite a lot. But the question that comes to us is, do we need to protect these water bodies? Yes, definitely we need to. Whether it is a small pond, or a lake, or a river, or an estuary, we need to protect them. Now, how do we do that? We need not pollute them. So today, industrial pollution is on the high risk. It's at the higher level. Most of the rivers, like the river Ganga, which is the so sacred river, is highly polluted just because of the effluent from the industries as well as the sewage that flows into it. In the same manner, we need to protect all other things. Every one of us should take a pledge that I would, in some way or the other, not pollute any river, pond, or a lake. In the same manner, the forest resources. The forest is abundant resource. It gives food, it gives nuts, there are a lot of wild animals that live there, and it gives us a lot of wood, furniture, everything. So many. And if you look into the medicinal aspect of those plants and trees that grow, medicinal plants, they are worth $1 million. So therefore, we need to protect the forest resources also. And what I would like you to do is, these resources are available in abundance. How do we use them in the most economical way? How each one of these resources is helping us economically develop ourselves. At the same time, why do we need to protect them? I hope you will take up small projects on this, and you will definitely come out with a lot of information and to understand how each and every natural resource is useful, how it is useful, and why we need to protect them. All the best. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the organizing committee of Lake 2020, I sincerely thank Dr. Harish sir and Mr. Khan sir for addressing all the audience and the researchers here. So I thank you both, sir, for taking your time off and addressing all of our students, and also providing valuable information that is very relevant to the concept and the journey that they are about to begin. Especially where Harish sir spoke about how the natural lakes were copied, and in Bangalore they created the artificial lakes 800 to 500 years between that range, and how we have been gifted with that resource and how we have been using their observations on it. That is especially something that we need to really think about and work towards turning it over to make it better for us and the future generations. Okay, so on this note, I once again thank Harish sir and Khan sir for giving us their time and valuable advices and their experiences. So today we begin the orientation program now. And to begin with, for all of you students who are participating for the first time, it is very important to understand where you're diving into. Okay, because Lake Conference, like both of them mentioned, and TVR sir also mentioned, that it has been going on for decades. This is the 12th biennial conference that is going to happen. So in this entire journey, there are a lot of things that they have experienced, and it has taken shape in very different manner. And it's taking forward and it's changing lives of so many peoples and other organisms as well. So let us understand what exactly is Lake Conference and what is expected of you and how people before you have come and participated in it. So I request TV Ramchandra sir to come and address the gathering about the Lake Conference and enlighten us about the journey of the Lake Conference. Thank you, sir.
So, that there was a folded TVR.
Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. Now let us try to understand about the kind of experiment you can do and also how you can take part. You know, this symposium is the 12th event we are organizing during 28th to 30th December 2020. That means in a few days from now, you will have an opportunity to come to IISC and do the presentation. Those who are unable to come have an option to do virtually also, similar to what we are doing today. Okay, and we have a dedicated website wherein all the Lake Symposium details we are posting there, the reference materials, etc. So now with this, if you come to IISC, you will see the beauty of IISC, the knowledge capital of the country and also the globe. So you will have an opportunity to interact with the experts within the campus and also enjoy the campus. Unlike Bangalore, our campus has a greenery. So the campus is about 400 acres of land. we do many ecological experiment and environmental experiments within the campus also, in addition to what we are doing in various parts of the country. Now, as a part of the symposium, today we have the orientation program for the students of Vagdevi Villas institutions at Bidadi, Varthur, Marathalli, and Whitefield. Okay, and also we have a KK English High School students from Varthur. So, and these are the resource persons whom you can contact. This presentation would be archived in YouTube. You can download and you can have a look at it later also. So, and some of them will be presenting today. The Rijulal will talk about how to monitor the birds, what kind of studies you can do. Then to map the earth resources, what are the data available will be discussed by the Bharat Setur. Then Chaturved, today he is not around, but his lecture is available online at YouTube on butterfly. We have conducted his lecture in the last session. Okay. Then we have water quality and how to monitor the aquatic ecosystem will be dealt by Sinsi, Sulabha and Sudarshan Bhatt. And Vinay will talk about soil, how to monitor the soil quality, why soil is important, he will discuss. Then Sri Ravi Shankar will talk about yeast, how the yeast is useful. You all know how the yeast this is a role when you have to eat dosa or idli. The similar thing, what are the beneficial yeast, he will be discussing about that. At any point of time, you can write depending on your subject to the concerned expert, or else if you have any doubt, you can write to this email ID lake2020.iisc.gmail.com. Either myself or Rijulal will respond immediately. Okay. Now this is the website where we have kept many of the materials. So you can go to research paper section. You can read the thing. So that it gives you an idea about how to conduct the experiment, how to compile the information. Say when we talk about, suppose if you are not able to collect the first-hand data, that is primary data, you can also collect the data from government agencies. When we talk about secondary sources, it doesn't mean copy-paste. It means collecting the data from various sources, and then you need to interpret that. You need to analyze the data and interpret it and write the report and prepare the slides. So copy and paste culture we do not encourage, because copy and paste is done by the dumb fellows. The people who are attending our symposium are not dumb fellows. They are the intelligent fellows. Their brain has to work. To exhibit that your brain is working, you need to conduct the experiment and then come up with a very interesting results. Okay. At any point of time, you can access our webpage, the Lake 2020, wherein all the details are available about the symposium. And we are going to post some of the background material also at this website. Okay. So now this is the logo of the symposium. And we will have some of the material even at IISC website. Then when we look at the ecosystem, let us try to understand ecosystem. It includes both the living and the surrounding environment in which we live. So now it includes the biotic and abiotic factors. When we talk about biotic factors, it starts from microorganism to the mammals, so the like elephant, etc. Abiotic factors include the soil, water, rock, the solar energy, etc. So this biotic component are the living part of the ecosystem, while the abiotic includes the non-living parts of an ecosystem as per the standard textbook definition. Now, when you look at the biotic factor, all of you now are at home. You know why you are at home? You are at home not to enjoy. You are at home because microorganism has asked you to be at home. So now why the microorganism has asked all of us to be at home? Because we misbehaved with the ecosystem. We ill-treated the ecosystem. That's where the one small microorganism has told us enough is enough. If you do not behave properly, you are going to pay the heavy price. Already we have paid a heavy price by staying indoors. Your parents couldn't go for the work and farmers couldn't cultivate. The industry didn't work. Because of that, there is a impact on our national economy and also the state economy. This is the cost we pay when we abuse the mother nature or when we ill-treat the ecosystem. Okay. Now, when you look at the ecosystem carefully, you know, this gives the structure of ecosystem. This gives how the abiotic and abiotic factor interact. When you look at the abiotic factor, solar energy is giving the energy which is assimilated by the green plant, the producers. This is eaten by the next level herbivore and then by the carnivore. And when you look at carefully, you can understand the laws of thermodynamics. The children who are in 8th and 9th standard know about laws of thermodynamics. There is a transfer of energy from one level to other level. That's what you can see. And also there is a law of optimization. As the energy move from one level to the other level, there is a loss. Law of entropy also you can understand. This essentially gives us the laws of thermodynamics. This follows the laws of thermodynamics, and whatever is left in the system, after all this organism, they function and all those things, there will be some waste material, or when this the product die, when this organism die, there will be the biodegradable material which are converted into elemental form by the bacteria and fungi. That's why we often refer bacteria and fungi as the environmental engineers, because they convert the organic form of the waste, or the waste in a form of organic form, to inorganic form or the elemental form. That means they are putting it back to the nature in the form the nature wants it, or in the form the ecosystem wants it. That's why when you look at this slide carefully, there is nothing called waste in the system. As the food produced by one organism becomes the food for the next level. So, and there is a synthesis of the food at various level, and also energy transfer is happening. So where do you see the waste? You see the waste where waste people are there. Who are these waste fellows? People who use too much of synthetic material, who do not worry about ecosystem, who do not worry about pollution, are the waste people. Now, that's where you see that we have a problem of waste in the cities. Wherever you see the heaps of waste, you can say that there are a bunch of waste fellows also resides in that locality. Now, the message here is, in nature, there is nothing called waste. Everything is assimilated and synthesized. You will see the waste only where the two-legged human beings, the waste fellows, are there, who use too much of waste materials like plastic, etc. You see that you would have seen some fellows getting the idli sambar in polythene bag. They could have taken the steel carrier from home and then got the material, delicious material for you all. But what happens? Some irresponsible parents, they go to the hotel without these containers, and they get it in polythene. You would have got the food, but at the same time, along with the food, you also would have got the cancer. We all know when there are hard material interact with the polythene or the plastic, the chemical constituents in this polythene or plastic gets into the food. That's how the food gets contaminated, and the parents have given the food. Along with that, they also have given the cancer. That's why the first and foremost thing is, at home, if your parents are getting food in a polythene bags or a plastic container, refuse to eat. When you refuse to eat, we can reduce the waste generated in the city. That's what we need to do it. There are some waste, we can recycle it. That's why refuse, reduce, reuse are the concept we need to understand. Okay. See, now some of the biotic elements in our environment, you can understand. These are some of the organisms we have witnessed when we meet very often when we go to the field. So then you can see that sometime when we go to the field, all these animals come to see us. That is because we respect the animals. Animals also come to see us. If we have not respected the animals, probably they would have, seeing our vehicle, they would have left the scene. Okay, now let's look at the abiotic factor. It includes air, water, soil, temperature, wind, and the sun, source of energy. These are some of the examples of abiotic factors. Okay, now abiotic and biotic factors are intimately intertwined. So at a particular location, it determines the abiotic factors such as temperature, climate, which in turn dictates the forces a certain type of ecosystem to exist. That's where, say, for example, some plant which have a medicinal properties, which grows in Western Ghats, you cannot bring to the Bangalore and culture it. Then that medicinal property you will not have in the plant. So that means abiotic factors decides the medicinal properties of the plant. That's why we need to protect those the habitat where these organisms or the plants thrive there. So that is where the conservation gains the importance. To do the effective conservation, you need to understand the importance of the ecosystem. All along we were telling people these many species are there in the ecosystem, but we realize that humans are too greedy. If we tell them that what are the kinds of goods and services the people use and from where it comes, then people might start the conserving the ecosystem or minimize the damage to the ecosystem. That is the purpose of this event, so that you will have an opportunity to learn from the experts what are ecosystem, how the goods and services are sustained in ecosystem through the effective management practices. Okay, now let us go further. These are some of the constituents of the ecosystem. These are all abiotic and some of the biotic factors. You can list them in your immediate vicinity. Those who are in the lower classes can take up this. What are the kinds of the ecosystem that is there in your vicinity, and what are the constituents of that? Then try to understand their interactions and what kinds of goods and services are provided by this ecosystem. You can list it. Okay, you can take up the study on algae or fungi or trees. You can work on the thing butterfly, birds, etc. And also you can try to understand their habitat, the underlying factor that decides the existence or the occurrence of that organism. Okay, so now when you look at the ecosystem, see, you also need to understand the food chain. That is how I started my lesson. You should understand the imbalances. Suppose if you remove the snake just because of the fear of snake, then what would happen to the ecosystem? How the imbalances is created in the system? Then the hawk will not have the food. Then hawk population will come down. Then you will have the other problem associated with this, and then you will have too much of grasshopper. Then your food productivity will come down because of too much of the predation by the grasshoppers. Okay, now when you look at the earth, it is said that in our literature it has been documented that 8 to 12 million species are there. As on today, the science could estimate only 1.3 billion. That means there are a lot more species we have not even explored, we have not even described. That is where becoming a science student is important, so that we can understand what kind of species occur, why they occur, and which are the habitat they require, and what are the benefits, what are the kinds of goods and services those organisms give. For example, if you have a particular species of the fish, what kind of medicinal properties it have in addition to the food. So you can try to understand, because the fish is being used for respiratory, curing the respiratory ailment, etc. Okay, now when we work extensively in Western Ghats, you all know that Western Ghat is known as water tower of India. It extends from Kerala to Gujarat. It's about 1,600 kilometers. This is the region my team works. For us, this is our home. We keep wandering in this region. At the same time, we try to understand the biotic and abiotic component and what are the kinds of ecosystem that is there. If it is a forest, what kind of forests are there? Evergreen forest, semi-evergreen, moist deciduous, dry deciduous, like that. And then what kind of goods and services we get from this ecosystem, we try to understand. Now, when you look at the ecosystem, you see the ecosystem is always in balance. As long as we do not interfere with that, that is where we need to understand and respect the ecosystem. Now, let us try to understand what is the kind of species that are there in the ecosystem in the Western Ghat. As I said earlier, ecosystem of the Western Ghat extend from Kerala to Gujarat from 8 degree to 22 degree latitude. You all know the X and Y coordinates or latitude, longitude. Now, let us look at the occurrence of species with respect to the latitude. See, the x-axis gives the latitude while the y-axis gives the number of species. You see that at the 12 to 14 degree, you have the highest number of species. You know this, the 12 to 14 degree corresponds to the, or 8 to 14 degree corresponds to Kerala and Karnataka part of the Western Ghat. That means Kerala and Karnataka part of the Western Ghat have the highest number of plants and animal species, and that's where you do not get this similar kind of number of species in any part of the globe. That's why there is a responsibility on our shoulder to protect this Western Ghat, to see that these species are not endangered or not have become extinct. There are still many more species have to be described, many more species. The importance of the ecological importance and the hydrological importance of the species, we need to understand that. Okay. Now, when you look at these species, see, this gives you the endemic species in the region. See, endemic species are the species that have the preference for a particular location. As I said earlier, The species which occur in Kerala, part of Western Ghats, I cannot bring to Bangalore and grow them there. So that is where we have to make sure the endemic species are protected so that we continue to get our food and the medicine and water. Now, when you look at this, you see the highest number of endemic species you can see at 8 to 10 degree latitude. Okay, then 12 degree latitude, you have the next. As we move from Kerala to Maharashtra, you see the endemic species are more concentrated towards the Kerala, and this is the Karnataka part of Western Ghats. See, the Karnataka is about 13 to 15 degree region. See, we are rich in the habitats of the fauna and the flora, the plants and animals. Okay, now when you are in a healthy ecosystem, it also ensures the holistic health, so everyone will be healthy. See, now you all face the crisis of COVID. You see where all the COVID infection has happened. It has happened mainly in the urban area. People who are in the Western Ghats are hardly affected because of the COVID, because the kind of food they were taking is the balanced food. Kind of food they were taking also provided immunity. That's where in districts like Uttara Kannada or Shivamogga, we didn't see much of the COVID problem till people from Bangalore or Mumbai landed there. The day they landed, they took the COVID there and they suffered with the COVID while they are at this region. But still, the people in this region do not have much of the COVID problem. That is mainly because the nature provided immunity. Why the nature provided immunity? Because the people were having everyday diverse food. Unlike Bangaloreans who eat rice and rasam in the afternoon, they will have at least 5 or 6 items. The side items for their food, which gives the balanced the diet to them. So that is balanced diet provided them the immunity. Because of that, none of them get affected with the COVID or any other diseases. Okay, that means it gives you the harmonious state of mind, body, and spirit. Okay, now let us look at some of the organism, how they get adapted to a situation. This is one of the example of the marshy plant. You can see how they get adapted to the marshy environment. The respiration continues to happen. At the same time, the plant grows and gives you the fruits like nutmeg, etc. Okay, these are some of the examples of that marshy land fruit. Then, understanding the importance of these trees, the people understood wherever these trees are there, they got the food, they also got the water. So understanding that importance, they protected this patch of forest. If you go to Uttara Kannada or Shivamogga or Dakshin Kannada, this patch of forests are called Devarakadu or sacred forest. Now, unfortunately, after independence, we started seeing people converting this forest into the idols, and slowly this is becoming a temple there, and only the commercial, the greedy people visit that region. Earlier, the villagers were protecting the forest because the forest was giving them a water and food and the job. Now the greedy people visit this region at the cost of the local people. That's how the local people have lost their right to live, or they are deprived of the water. Okay, now when you look at the nature is always in balance. So you understood energy and material transition through the food web. And also, if you see, there is something called a remediation. You can you see the people washing cloth in the river. You collect the water sample there, and also collect the water sample 500 meters in the downstream. When you analyze these two samples, you will see at the second point, there is no contamination, which has happened at the point A. Point A, the contamination has happened because of the washing of the cloth, but at point B, there is no contamination. That means by the time water moved from point A to point B, there is a treatment has happened. This is done by organisms like algae and bacteria. That's why we call the algae and bacteria as the bioremediation agent, and this phenomena is called bioremediation. And when the nature is in balance, it sustains the food, and to maintain the sustainability, you need to ensure the renewability in the system. That can happen only when we do not overexploit, or when we do the overexploitation, then we lose the forest, we lose the water bodies, as it is happening in Bangalore and many parts of the country. Okay, now when you look at the ecosystem, you need to understand the diversity and appreciate the diversity. Because of diversity, there is a harmony. The country landscape is rich in the diverse plants and animals. and also diverse culture. And because of the diversity, the country always has a harmony. And it also, the diversity leads to greater unification, and you understood energy efficiency and material cycling through the food chain and the water cycle, etc. And these are the functions of ecosystem. Any ecosystem, you know, when you understand the structure, you will also appreciate the function, which include hydrological, nutrient, biogeochemical cycling. And that means if there is any disturbance to this ecosystem, you will lose the species. With that, there are conflict, entropy, and reduced capacity to carry life. That means one need to understand the importance of the ecosystem. First, let us try to understand how the structure of the ecosystem. Then you will understand the functions of the ecosystem. Once you understand the function, then you will start analyzing the goods and services provided by an ecosystem. So now these are some of the examples of the ecosystem people. You can see them collecting the fisherwomen, collecting the bivalves in the Western Ghats. You can see the fishing community doing the fishing in this the estuary. So these are whether it is a water or the ecosystem, you see everything is in balance. And since it's in balance, the diversity is maintained, ecology and hydrology is retained. Because of that, people's livelihood is sustained. So if we do the imbalance in any of the thing, finally it affects the human. That's what is happening in most of the places. See, when I travel in Shivamogga or Uttar Kannada district, I do not see the beggars, but I see the beggars on roads and within the building because of the degradation of the ecosystem in Bangalore. That's why we have large number of beggars on the street. And also, if you go to some of the building, you will see big beggars will be sitting waiting for the people to pay them. Okay, so now let us what we have understood is ecosystem is always in balance. When it's in balance, it provides the water and food. That's how it sustains the livelihood of the people. As a part of the project, you are going to understand the role of the ecosystem, structure of the ecosystem, and also the functions of ecosystem. Now, to understand this further, I'll take you to one of the study in our Uttar Kannada district. It's one of the district in Western Ghat. When you look at the Western Ghat, this district, there are 3 agroclimatic zones. You can also assess what is the difference between one agroclimatic zone to the other, how the food and the other the occupation vary from one region to other. And you can also look at the rivers and streams in the region, how those rivers, if it is dammed, what kind of job it does, what kind of goods and services you get. If it is not dammed, what are the benefits, you can understand that. Okay, now these are some of the rivers. When we take up the river, we look at the entire catchment. So this is the catchment, means the region which drains the water to the river. So when it rains, now water which falls here flows into Kali river. Similarly, another one flows into Gangavati. So that means every water body has a catchment. Catchment is a region which drains the water to that particular lake or the river. So you can also do the mapping of the catchment. Try to understand what kind of the land uses or land cover is there in the catchment. Okay. Now you can also look at what is the kind of topography in the region. So then you can look at what are the taluks are there in the particular district, which taluks comes under the coastal, which taluk come under the hilly, and which are the taluk comes under the plains. You can try to understand. This depends on the district what you choose for your studies. Okay. Now, if you want to study the plants and animals, see what we do is, it's difficult to cover the entire district, each and every location. What we do is broadly we will understand what kind of vegetation is there. In that vegetation type, we will have the samples. These are our sampling plot where we go to the field, we collect the data pertaining to flora and fauna. Now, because of the COVID, many people do not want to go to the field, or even if they are in the forest area, they will give an excuse of COVID and try to stay inside home. So that is okay with us, but as long as they can interact with the elders and find out what kind of plants are there in their vicinity, they should be able to come up with an interesting project. Okay. So now, if you want to see the forest cover in the region, one of the way to do is use the Google Earth. You can find out what kind of the vegetation cover is there, or the remote sensing data. So you can find out what are the kinds of the forest types are there, where the forest is there, where teak plantation is there, where water body is there. You can assess using the remote sensing data. That's another project. Some students can take it up. So when you take the remote sensing data, you will see the heterogeneous patches. but we do not know what these heterogeneous patches, whether this is agriculture or horticulture. So what we do is we fill these polygons which we have digitized, we load it into GPS, we go to the field, find out what is there in the field, and then with that we will say whether which location has a forest, which has a agriculture, etc. So the work what we have done for Uttara Kannada, Shivamogga, etc. are available online. You can download the research paper and read that, so that it gives you an idea about how to do the vegetation mapping, which even Bharat Settu will talk about it in greater detail. See, if you are interested in plants and animals, you need to do the sampling. These are the shaded grids which we have chosen for the study. Within that shaded grid, we lay a transect. This is a 20 meter by 20 meter quadrant. Within that, you have 2 or 5 meter by 5 meter quadrant. And within that, you have 4 1 meter by 1 meter quadrant. Now, 20 meter by 20 meter quadrant is used for mapping the tree. That means when we lay a quadrant of 20 meter by 20 meter, that means we will carry a rope. We lay a rope, the 20 meter like this, 20 meter like this, then it forms the square. So within that region, whatever the trees are there, we will just find out the location of the tree, height of the tree, and also what type, whether it is the mango tree or a teak or the other species, we will note down. And also we measure the girth and girth of a tree. The girth is the perimeter of the tree at our chest level. We will measure that. Then this 5 meter is for the shrubs. Shrubs are the small plants. You know, the height is less than 1.5 meter, which is not a tree, it is a sapling. Then within that we have a 4 of 1 meter quadrant, wherein we document the herbs like grasses, etc. So that means we have mapped the grasses in the region, then the shrubs and also the trees. Then we leave 20 meter quadrant, then we do the next 20 meter. So we'll go on doing as long as we get a newer species. For example, here you would have documented 20 types of plants. Okay, when you go here, you would have got 22. That means 2 additional plants you would have got. The moment you get the same number, you will stop your exercise, which means that you have put in enough effort. You have captured the diversity, so that you don't have to proceed more in this region. Then you will go to the next grid. That's how we record the plants. Then whatever the animal we see in this region, whether it's ants or a tiger or this one elephant, we record it. And then if we see the water body, we collect the water sample, we analyze the water sample. That's how the water as well as the plant we assess in the region. Okay, then we also do the quantification of the goods. We find out what all goods that come from this ecosystem. For example, if you take the forest, you get the food. When you go to the forest, you all eat mango, you eat jackfruit. That is find out how much, what is the quantity we get. Similarly, you get spices like you will get the various spice products, cinnamon to the cloves and all those things. Then you can also find out how much fuel wood is extracted from the forest and what are the other benefits, the fish, etc. These are all the direct benefit, and also there are indirect benefit. Let us not worry about indirect benefit. If you can document the direct benefit, that is also becomes a project for you, so that you can implement it in a month or 2 months time. Okay, now you can take up the topics, the diversity of fish, algae or mammal or any of the taxa. The biotic component, you can do a detailed study. You can also understand the cultural diversity and its linkage with the nature conservation. Those who are from for example, if you are from Mudbidre or from the Western Ghat, there are cultural this one like Yakshagana and all these things. You can try to understand that, and also what are the religious practices, how that is linked with the nature conservation. You can try to understand. Okay, this could also be a topic for you. Then you can take up some student can take up on terrestrial biodiversity. Terrestrial means on land, what are the kinds of diverse organisms are there. Similarly, in the water, aquatic biodiversity. Then you can also study the microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, algae, etc. And then there are some beneficial microorganisms like yeast and fungi. You can also study that. And if you want to study the food habits, whether in the coast or in Andhra Pradesh or in Kerala, you can do that. Then you can also study the sacred groves, what kind of diversity is there, what are the threats and how to do the conservation. Then also try to understand cultural diversity, how it is linked to the landscape diversity. You see, wherever region is rich in landscape, when the diversity is higher, you will also see various practices and various culture. So that's how the cultural diversity is linked to the landscape diversity. Then you can also try to understand what are the vegetables that is grown in the particular region and what are the medicinal properties of those vegetables and fruits you can assess. Then if you want, you can also talk about palms of the coastal region, because there are many palm species. What are the beneficial aspect of the palm, whether it is for liquor or whether it is for other you all eat cashew nuts, so this also comes from the cashew tree. You can also do that. Or if you want to look at any other the plant species which are giving beneficial product, not only the cashew, you can also look at the other palm species also. Okay, then if you want to study about zoonotic disease which has an origin in the animal, for example, I said that COVID-19 is a good example of the virus that is there in the wild animal which has come to us through the wild animal, because we deprive the wild animal their habitat. So the wild animal came to the human habitation. Along with the wild animal, we also got the virus. So the virus, when it was resident in wild animal, they were calm, but when it came to the humans, it became wild. That's how all of us are closed the mouth and we are sitting inside the home. And there are other examples of monkey fever, dengue. These are all because of the virus, okay, and which is from the wild origin. So if you want to control the zoonotic diseases, you need to have a balanced diet, and also that is where those who have a balanced diet in Western Ghat region, they will be healthy. Those who do not have balanced diet, they are neither healthy nor wealthy nor this one. They will only be arrogant. That's what I see with many of the Bangalore children who depend on more on pizza and such junk food. Their intelligence is also minimal. So that's where the food and the intelligence one can take up as a project. Then also you can understand the floods and droughts in the region. The Bangalore has become a good example for that. Kodagu and Kerala. Then role of native vegetation in mitigating the landslide you can study. Then what are the biodiversity and how it provides the job to the women, you can do the study. Then what are the job prospects in Western Ghats, you can assess that, because there are various goods are available. See, after you have banana, you can also use a banana leaf for various other products also. You can study that. Okay, then these are the various ecosystem you can study. So you can study almost all aspects in this conference. There is no limit. You can choose on the coastal, estuarine ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, or the inland water like lakes, the rivers, etc., soil, then agriculture, horticulture, livestock, or you can even try to study the behavior of your teachers and how that behavior is linked to their the food habit. You can do such assessment also. So see, this is how the children take part in our program. You can see your seniors doing the planting. Whenever they take part in the lake symposium, we also make sure they at least plant one sapling when they take part in the thing. Today, after listening to our presentation, I would be very happy if you go home or go to your school or go to the nearby area where there is a land, take up the planting, so that as you go plant it, you also are trying to plant newer ideas in your brain, which will make you to think better. Okay. Now, if you want to monitor the environment in the neighborhood or collect the water sample, this is the manual that is available at this web link. You can access this report and you can download this entire PDF version. There are various sections in that, how to collect the water sample and what kind of analysis can be done, how to do that analysis. All those things we have discussed in that report. Similarly, if you are doing the mapping of the neighborhood, which Bharat is going to discuss in detail, so you can how GIS helps, how the Google Earth helps or Bhuvan helps, we will discuss those aspects. You can also do the similar thing sitting at home. Okay. Then the mapping using the digital database, as I said earlier, the Google Earth or Bhuvan, how to map the Earth resources. You can sitting here, you can find out what is there in the Aravalli Hills or the Delhi or in the Jammu Kashmir. Okay. Then the other thing is you can also, there are various other sections wherein we talked about how to monitor the biological parameters. the water quality, physicochemical and biological parameters. So, and if you want to study on various coastal ecosystem, this report will give you. This is also available online. You can download that. If you are from coastal region, you can go back home and you can monitor the crab or the estuarine birds or the plants in the estuarine area, and also the indigenous knowledge. You see, every other person in the Western Ghat is an expert. He knows what vegetable or what the food one has to take to minimize the disease affecting us. So, whereas in Bangalore and other places, you do not see such people with the indigenous knowledge. Okay. So when you go there, when you access this web page, you will see the various component. You can, and also we have talked about the methods, how to collect the data, how to analyze that, how to prepare the presentation. We have talked about in this document. Okay. Now, once you choose the topic and do the experiment, we'll have the evaluation program sometime during this month end or in the December, so that if you are selected, then you will come for the Lake Symposium. And those who are not selected are still welcome to take part in the Lake Symposium as a participant. Now you can see some of your seniors what kind of experiments have done. This is the experiment done by KK High School kids. See, they have measured they have mapped the trees. They have measured the girth and height of a tree. They identified the trees with the teacher's help. Then they found out what is the carbon stored in the plant. You all know the plants during photosynthesis take carbon from the atmosphere and gives the oxygen to all of us. So how much carbon is taken away by the plants is assessed by these youngsters along with the teacher, Madam Ali Rani. So she has been training the kids from 98 onwards, 2000 onwards. So that's where many students who took part in this event today, they have become the global leaders also. They have become a faculty in various institutions. So that's how the capacity building happens. That's how you will start thinking when you take up this kind of experiments. Okay. Now, those who want to take up the water body, you can do the catchment mapping. That is where Bharat Satur will tell you how to monitor how to map the catchment area. Those who are interested in the water can collect the water sample and analyze the water sample for the physical, chemical and biological properties. And those who are interested in birds in the vicinity, you can listen to the Rijulal. He will tell you how to identify the birds, the thing. Or if you are interested in butterfly, our Chaturved will tell you about how to identify the butterfly, what are the species that are there in the region, and what are the beneficial aspects of the butterflies, etc. Okay. Now the kids are been trained how to collect the sample. You can see Ali Rani here, along with the students. Then the kids go and collect the sample. This is in Varthur Lake. They have come to the lab, analyzed. Now these institutions have the lab. So with all this kind of equipment, you can use that. You can prepare the report. They have done these sketches, and what they have done in a 15 days or a 20 days experiment has become an investment for them for the rest of their life. You know, these are all the sketches done by the kids, where when you see through the electron microscope, you get the similar thing. That means the kids have done a reasonably good job. Okay. Those who are in rural area, you can download the format which gives the details about how to document the biodiversity in the region, so that what are the plants, animals, etc. You can document it and you can present the same in the Lake Symposium. So we conduct a orientation program, that is what is happening today, and also we conduct an evaluation program to select you if you have done a good job for the next level, that is for the Lake Symposium. See, this is how the children, the various school take part in our initiative. You can see the school, where the planting is happening, and then all these resource persons delivering the lectures, the kids doing the experiment. We have selected them, and then they will come to the Lake Symposium. When they come to the Lake Symposium, they will have an opportunity to interact with a wide section of the society, knowledgeable people, including Johnny Biosphere. Then you see the ministers, and you can see the politicians from the government, etc., and also the experts from the international and national lessons, so that you have an opportunity to interact with a wide section of society. If you want to go abroad to learn more, or if you want to learn more within this country, you have the experts, you can talk to them. That's how it helps in the career building also. So now this is how it gives the glimpse of the various program what we conducted. And of course, the last day, on the fourth day, we also go out for exploring what is there in the vicinity. We try to understand the ecosystem, and you get this website wherein you get the biodiversity related information. Those of you interested in the biodiversity of Western Ghat, you can go to this website. You'll get the details of that. The flora and fauna details are available. So all the details are available. Only the thing is you should interpret that, you should synthesize that. Please do not think of copy paste. The person who does a copy paste will become a dumb fellow. The person who thinks will become a stalwart, and the country requires the sensible citizens. Country requires the people who think and contribute to the nation building. We do not want dumb people. So please refrain yourself from copy paste. Try to learn something. What you learn, try to tell us that what is the new thing you have learned. That becomes the subject of the Lake Symposium. And if you want, some of the articles are available online, how we have synthesized. These are the details available. If you want to understand about crab, it is there. Birds of the Bangalore, it is there. All these details are available. For example, see, one of my colleague wrote about the birds in the forest. This time he told me that he is not willing to attend the thing. He said that I have gone abroad in a remote location. I will guide the student remotely. That's where he keeps sending us the article on the birds, etc. These birds details are available. Very good article is available online on the forest guardians in the Western Ghat. Is written by Harish, but this time he won't be available to all of you. His articles are accessible. You can read and do the similar kind of synthesis and present it in the symposium. Okay, and similarly, you will have about the sacred groves. What I have given a presentation. All the details are available online. And if you want to know more about algae, you can collect the water sample and observe under the microscope, so that you will see this fascinating architecture of the algae. See, when you appreciate the architecture, at the same time, you should understand algae also has oil which can be converted into biodiesel. That means tomorrow, if you want to run your scooter or a car, you have oil. So how much oil can be produced, how to produce oil, etc. You can take it up as a project and do the assessment of that. Okay. So we have done the mapping of the solar energy, and now a couple of my students are working on the algae. They are also coming up with the technology to extract the oil from the algae. Okay. Now these are some of the website where you get the details. You can access this, and all our publications are available here. And these are some of the website where our publications are also available. At any point of time, you can write to us at this website, any details regarding the thing. And this is how the website looks. And this is how all our article is documented there. This is not for copy paste. This is for you to understand. So I saw some of the comments at the initial lesson, which Gagan has tried to respond. So please avoid, if you want to become a successful person in your career, please avoid copy paste. Okay. So these are various publications that is available online. And if you succeed and if you do a good job, you will have an opportunity to come to IISC. Our institution is the #1 in the country, and we are the leaders in the world. We constitute 2% of the world population, while doing the science. And these are various ecosystem you can see in the campus. We have water body, we have vegetation similar to the Western Ghat vegetation, and forest similar to the Western Ghat forest. Okay, we have created. See, you can enjoy this kind of architecture, and also we have a mini forest which shows us what is the importance of the trees. See, people when they understand the importance of the trees through this mini forest. See, we found that the groundwater, which was 150 feet before the forest came into existence, now the groundwater is available at 10 feet. That means if you are getting the groundwater at 10 feet compared to 150 feet, the trees have helped in storing the groundwater. That means the trees help in providing the water. Where Kadu is there, you will have the Nadu with water. Okay. So now this gives a glimpse of the mini forest. This is where our building is there. Okay. And when you visit that forest, if you are lucky, you will see your friends. You can talk to them also. 4 families of the slender loris is there. And if you are still more lucky, you will see the varieties of snakes, including Russell Viper, you will see in the forest area. You can also tell hello to them without disturbing them too much. Okay. So the students, youngsters who work in our group, who will take active part in the Lake Symposium, the earlier batch is given here. So when these youngsters do a good job, everyone will enjoy. That's how the nation appreciates the work done by these youngsters, including the biotic element of the earth They appreciate the work done by these youngsters. We look forward to your the knowledge sharing so that you can do a wonderful job. And this is a unique opportunity for you to share your knowledge and your talent. You know, the earlier event, the children who took part innocently earlier time, today they have completed doctorate. Some of them have completed doctorate and they have become faculties either in IITs or in NASA or such institution. So that's how you can have a new horizon or a new path or new meaning to your life when you work sincerely. When you do the science, you will also have happiness. When you have happiness, your family would be very happy. You should be looking for the happiness by doing the science. So the science gives you all what you want. Of course, science will not give you too much of money. Those who are greedy should not worry about this one, but try to understand the importance of the science. And those who want to do the science, we need to encourage them. This gives you an opportunity for many youngsters to take active part and interact with the experts. The bonus for the student who take part in this kind of event, you will have an opportunity to interact with the global level scientists and also the practitioners. And also at the same time, you can also do the presentation at a very young age. When you do the presentation at your very young age, your confidence builds up so that you will also become successful human being or successful Indian, and you will be the one more the intelligent person for the country. That's what we are looking for. Okay, just to wind up my thing, the details are available on web. You can also go to our website. You can download the details, further details. Okay. So I'll end my talk. Thank you for listening. I look forward for your active participation. Please do the experiment sincerely. Please, you need to go through the literature, try to understand what we have not understood. Probably the youngsters like you can understand and can come with the interesting facts and figures so that all of us learn. Let us make the country proud with many more sensible and talented youngsters around. So I wish you all the success. Now I request the next, the Rijulal is going to take over. Okay, thank you.
I thank you, sir, on behalf of the organizing committee for enlightening all the students and teachers about the conference and addressing various topics which they can take up to study. I can see that there are a lot of questions on the comments which will be answered towards the end of the session. So now we'll move on to the next session, which is by Deepthi. So Deepthi will be talking about a lot of information about various websites and databases from which you can access the data. See, now there are a lot of comments on secondary research. So she will be talking briefly about it and she will explain from where you can gather that information. Okay, so I request all the students and teachers to have your notepads and pen handy or your notepads in your phones or computers so that whatever is shared, you can always write it down, which is important. And otherwise, you can take a photograph or a screenshot of the links that are shown, which you can refer later on. So I hand over the session to Deepthi. Over to you, Deepthi.
Thank you, Riju. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes,
Hello?
you're audible.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon
Yes,
to
Deepthi, you're
everyone.
audible.
So, yeah, I welcome you all to Pre-Lake Conference 2020. So, I'll be taking you through important websites and links. So far, TVS has told you what are the different kinds of topics that you can choose and what are the likely topics that you can take up as a project and present it in our Lake Symposium. So I'll be basically discussing about the important website where you can get different kinds of information regarding the topic that you have chosen. First to birds. So let's say some of the students have chosen the topic birds. So they want to understand what are the birds that are present in their neighborhood or maybe in their hometown or in the Western Ghats or as India as a whole. So if you want to understand what are the different kinds of birds that is present in India and what are its features and everything, morphology, its feeding behavior, and it is nesting behavior, everything will be covered extensively by Rijulal in the next session. But I'll tell you what are the different kinds of website and the links that you can use through this presentation that will be helpful in order to gain this information so that you can collect this information and produce it in the form of a report. So here you can see I have listed down different kinds of website name as well as their so each of the website will have these kinds of icons like home button, about button, events button, symposia, photo gallery, and everything. So you can explore all of these icons in that particular website and understand what are the different kinds of information that is available in that particular website. So let's say in ecology student society, there is something called photo gallery. And then let's go see what is there in the icon birds. So this is what I get. When I click on the birds, so this is the different kinds of birds that have been contributed to this website by different students. And then with their morphology, and then when at the time that they have recorded it, or the place or the location that they have recorded, and the season, the month, everything will be given in this particular website. So with this, we have a government website maintained by Government of India, that is Zoological Survey of India, where you can have state-wise fauna series, that is animal and bird series. So here also, if you click on state fauna series, you have something called Fauna of Karnataka, where you get tremendous information about different faunas that is Karnataka, be it coastal or be it terrestrial, be it Western Ghats, be it an urban region or in a village setup, all sort of information of fauna that is distributed across Karnataka state will be available in this particular PDF. So all this you can download from the internet, from this particular web. You can see on the left hand side, it is this particular link that you click on. So all this PPT also will be shared with you, so no need to worry. So you can just listen to what are the points that I'll be highlighting in this presentation, so that it will be useful for you in order to collect all the information. So next thing is, let's say some of you are interested in documenting the birds that is present in Bangalore. So there are few NGOs that have been set up, does bird watching, and then they have also documented different kinds of birds that is present. So when you observe a bird, you basically observe the color of the feather, the beak, the eyes, and the how small or big the bird is. And then, like, does it have a nest, or is it foraging? Is it feeding on something? What is it feeding on? All that information also you can report in your document, the report that you're going to submit. As well as you can also list down in local language, like let's say in Karnataka, in Kannada, what do you call that particular bird as? Is there a local name for it, or what is the scientific name for it, and what is the common English language name for that particular bird? That also you can list down in your report. Similarly, there are other different websites. This website is called eBird India. Here also you can discover and explore many different bird documentation that has been contributed to this website. Similarly, after birds, let's say a group of students are interested in butterflies, and you want to know what are the different kinds of butterflies, understand its life morphology and its life cycle, and how does it become from a moth, and what are the different host plants that it feeds on, and how do they, if they lay egg, how do they lay egg, all that different kinds of the life cycle of a butterfly. If you want to understand also, you can take up that as one of the project. So this is one of the website where you can find different documentation regarding butterflies. So it is called iNaturalist. So there's a button called Explore. So if you click on Explore, this is how the data, the next page opens and the data is available. Search for Bangalore to understand what are the different records of butterflies documented in and around Bangalore. So you can just click in the search bar, or you can just give butterflies as a species. And then if you know any particular butterfly by scientific name or a common name, that also can be provided in this search bar. And then click on that. So you can see a square box here. So that highlights these are the number of observations that have made in that particular region. So you can see 21,173 observations of butterflies have been made in this particular region. So like TVS was talking about grid-wise sampling and how 20 meter by 20 meter quadrat was laid down and how sampling was done. Similarly, they have tried to choose this region and then try to understand what are the different kinds of butterflies that are there in this particular region. So, and how many species are there and how many individuals have been recorded. All that information is available on this website. Similarly, let's click on what are the species. So they have Other than the information available, they also provide you with the photographs. So let's say if you have photographed some of the butterflies in your garden or in your neighborhood, you can always compare those pictures with the pictures available on the website, and that helps you identify the particular butterfly, as well as get to know its different characteristics. So here in the second picture, you can see common evening brown. So this is the English name, and then there's a scientific name. So like that, you have different kinds of butterflies and along with the pictures. So similarly, there are other websites for butterflies. One is Butterfly of India. So this is again national website. So here also you can explore what are the different kinds of butterflies that have been recorded in urban district. After that, if you scroll down this particular website, if some of you are interested in moths of India or cicadas of India, or if reptiles of India or odonata of India, so all this different information, if you're and what are the distribution of these, and are there any significance of these butterflies or moths or cicadas in India, let it be in agriculture or pollination or any other uses. So that also you can record. It need not be only the morphology or distribution, any significance to the given ecosystem. Like TVS was highlighting about disappearance of snake in the food web, what will happen to it. So similarly, you can also try to understand what are the significance of each of these species when it comes to ecosystem. It could be terrestrial ecosystem, it could be even aquatic ecosystem. So here you can find this different kind of information about the species. So if some of you are very interested in understanding it in detail, or you want to understand if you want to get more of information on the channel that you're watching as of now, we also conduct webinars. So there are different webinars on know your ecosystem, know your insects, know your butterflies, know your birds. So different videos are there where each of our researchers have explained all these topics in detail. So you don't have to worry. You can even listen to these, go through these webinars and understand the different aspects of these topics. Like I said, for birds, how it was different photos. Same way we also have photos for butterflies. So you can see different kinds of butterfly photos. And when you click on the distribution chart, you can also see that particular butterfly, where and all it has been distributed, or where and all it has been recorded in India. So how significant is it? Does it travel that far, or is it like they have been recorded here and all? Is there any significance in this region with respect to the given ecosystem? All that studies also can be taken up. Similarly, these are the host plants. So every butterfly has a different distinct host plant. So you can even document that. So if there is a loss of that particular host plant, will it have a drastic effect on the butterfly existence? All that kind of relatedness or relevance also you can bring about in your report. So this is Butterflies of Bangalore. So if you're interested in understanding or documenting the different kinds of butterflies that are found in Bangalore, that also can be done by this particular website. So coming to trees, so if you are interested in understanding what are the different trees that is there, and like Sir told, you can even measure their girth and height, and then understand what are the biomass and what are the different kinds of other, are there this different, so are there any trees that is endemic to that Western Ghats, is it present or any of those documents, and does it have any goods value? Like Sir said, does it have fruits, and does the fruit have any value in the market? All the different kinds of goods and services provided by that particular tree species also can be documented. So you can take a tree and then literally give a complete horoscope for that particular tree. So understanding what is its importance, and if it is not in existence, what effect can that have on a livelihood of a community that is dependent on the trees? All sort of different kinds of tree distribution and its characteristics can be obtained from these websites. So if you go through this website, you will have a very good idea as to what all different topics you can cover. So here you have uncommon trees of Mysore. So if you happen to be native of Mysore, you can even record what are the uncommon trees that you feel has not been given more importance, and why do you think it should be given more importance. That also can be recorded. So you have wild wanderer. So some of the NGO people, some of the volunteers also have contributed to different kinds of tree species and their photos and how to identify on their leaf structure or the flower or the fruits, and in which season does it fruit or which season does it flower. All that information also you can document when it comes to a tree as a project. So coming to fishes, so if you are native of coastal area, if you are hailing from Mangalore or Karwar, Kumta or Udupi, all of these districts, if you are from that particular place, then you can take up the different fishes. It need not be only for coastal region, it can also be for the people who are inland, who are from Western Ghats or from Bangalore also. You can take up fishes from lake, river, and fishes has been extensively covered by my colleague Sinsi in that given webinar, Know Your Fishes. So there also she explains what the different kinds of significance of each of the fishes, or how do you identify a fish, and what are its medicinal value or food value. All that documentation also can be carried out by you. So on the left hand side is the website and the links given. So this is Karnataka Biodiversity Board. So here, other than fishes, you have other information also available, like algae of Karnataka, angiosperm, that is the flowering plants of Karnataka, and then you have fungi, bryophytes also that grows on the tree, and then fishes of Karnataka and fungi of Karnataka. So if you, let's say if I click on fishes of Karnataka, I have different kinds of fishes that is recorded in Karnataka state, and then what is its significance, and in which all season it's available, in which season does it breed, and which season do people harvest it. All that information is given. Similarly, for an international base, let's say if you want to take up fish distribution in the major rivers of India, or what is the status of fish distribution with respect to a dammed river or an undammed river. So how does it affect? Is there an anthropologic effect on the fish distribution natural system? All that different kinds of aspects also can be studied. And then fish base is in a global database where each of the fish data has been inputted in this particular website. Here also, based on the genus and the species, if you know the common name of that particular fish, you can click on it and you will get the entire given description about the fish, where and all it is available. Everything, most of the information you will get from this particular database. Then also we have Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute. Here also you can even take up aquaculture of fishes. So, and you can even give us the statistics as to how much of fish is getting exported or imported, and for what food. Is it imported for food or medicines or any other uses, and then how much happens in either Karnataka or other coastal states. So I'm basically trying to give you different kinds of topics that you can think about with respect to India as a whole, Karnataka, and then even regional as in your area of interest. So let's say if you happen to have a fish market, you can even document what are the different kinds of fishes that comes into your market and how much it gets sold for, and what are the market value that it has, and does it have any significance when it comes to ecosystem, and does it have any role to play in your food web. All the different kinds of documentation also can be carried out with respect to fishes. Now coming to medicinal plants, other than trees, if there are any medicinal plants, so this can even be your own home garden if you're having any medicinal plants that your mom or grandmother are growing. So you can even try to understand its medicinal value and try to not just the list of medicinal plants, but also try to give out the importance of these medicinal plant with respect to what sort of ailments does it cure, or what sort of disease it has been cured. Does it have importance in Ayurvedic medicine? Do they use that in any Ayurvedic medicine? And how do they administer it to the given patient? Like, do they administer it just the raw leaf, or the branch, or do they formulate it into, do they process it into any kind of powder or syrup or tablets? All these kinds of different documentation also you can do in medicinal plants. So this is basically to try to make you familiarize with the kinds of different topics that one can choose from topics that I have been telling in these presentation. So this is about medicinal plants. So these are the different website as well as the links that you can find different kinds of medicinal plants, and its fact sheet. So like on the right hand side, you can see Indian medicinal plants fact sheet. So you can also, even like sir told about going back to your village and asking your people who are residing in that region, like indigenous people, because they will have more knowledge about it. So it can be to your grandmother or someone from your family, some older people from your family. Ask them what are the different importance of that particular medicinal plant, and how do they used to take it, and for what they used to administer that particular medicinal plant, either in children or in the older people, or for any age group in particular. So that kind of documentation also you can do for this project work. Now coming to air quality. So as you know, global warming is a pressing issue in globe as of now because of the increased greenhouse gas emissions. So you can even talk about, you can even choose air quality as one of your project. So this again don't have to restrict only for one particular region. If you want, you can even talk about globally, and then how air quality might be affecting a particular ecosystem. So let's say it could be water quality, or it could be bird population, or a butterfly population, or plants, or any of the other things. So any ill effects that this air quality is having on different kinds of ecosystem also you can touch upon. And also the effect of some people, you can, if you're interested, you can even take up air quality before and after pandemic. So that 6 months what we had, how was the air quality before and after? So this also you can go for India as a whole, or if you want to just study Bangalore, that also can be done. These are the website that is there. So here you can see Silk Board Bangalore air pollution real-time air quality. So in this particular website, you can actually find out what are the different kinds of air quality that has been there in that particular time and the date. So that has been updated in this website. That also you can take up as one of the projects. So other than fishes, like I said, for coastal ecosystem, you can take marine ecosystem as a whole, because we have Karnataka has a coastal state, has coastal district. So you can even document what are the different kinds of marine life that is there, that has been documented in Karnataka, and what are its status when it comes to exploitation. Do human use it in any other form, like for consumption or for marketing, or like do they use it in pharmaceutical or cosmetics or any other mode of industrialization or commercialization? That also you can document. And if some of you are interested, you can take as the entire coastal states of so and try to understand what are the distribution of these particular marine organisms, and do they have any use value when it comes to humans, or even for the ecosystem as a whole. Like, do they have any significant role to play in an ecosystem, let it be food chain or degradation, or in blooming that particular ecosystem? All that documents also, information also can be documented in the form of a report, but it needs to have significance when it comes to ecosystem. So these are the website as well as the link. So census of marine life. So you can get to know what are the different kinds of marine life that have been recorded. So you can have a comparison also. Like if there is a degraded marine ecosystem because of anthropogenic activity to a natural marine ecosystem, what is the different kinds of species that thrive, or are there any species that are more tolerant to pollutants in that particular degraded system? And then does the species thrive in any other ecosystem? Can it be an indicator of pollution? All that different kinds of aspects also can be studied in this. So here I would like to highlight one of conducted webinar talk given by my colleague Sharanya. It highlights on diatoms. So there also you can find different kinds of ideas. You can pick up different kinds of ideas when it comes to marine ecosystem. So I would suggest you people to go through that webinar. So these are the websites. So this is National Institute of Oceanography that is there in Goa, that has documented different kinds of marine biodiversity that is available in India. So here on the right hand side, you can see resources. So this resources for scientists, teachers, and students. So this is as complex. They have complex information will be mostly for the scientists if it is more technical. But if you click on that easy explanation that is given for the marine organism, so you can explore these. And also you have field guides. So if you happen to visit the coastal region in any of the weekends that you happen to travel to your native, or if you happen to travel to beach also, you can go through these field guides, understand prawns of India, crabs of India. So that also highlights as to how to identify these organisms. So there's, like sir was telling, you can also work on algae. So it need not be again only for marine. It can be for freshwater, or it can be from your lake also. So all the different kinds of algae, and if you are given a chance to go to your school and observe it under the microscope, that also you can do. And what are the significance of these algae? And do they use it in any other? Does it have any use or application when it comes to food and pharmaceutical? All that significance also you can write down. And if there's algae are if the algae bloom in a large quantity, what happens to the given ecosystem? Let's say it's a lake or river or a ocean, so what happens to it? All that kind of different significance of that particular algae also you can give it in a form of a report. So this is again a PDF document that is marine biodiversity in India. So here in this document, you can see different kinds of marine lives that have been recorded along the Indian coast, that has been highlighted in this particular PDF. So other than these about website and the links that I've spoken, we also have something called Science Direct and Springer. So these basically for the researchers who have done various studies and across the globe on different topics. So other than the topics that I've covered, many topics they have researched on. So they write a paper, so that is in the form of a report as well, that you can also follow. And they write and they also make you understand as to what are material methods that was used in carrying out that particular research. And they write the result and discussion as to what all different kinds of, let's say, organisms that they found, or the tree species that they have documented. And then they discuss about it, the significance of their work they discuss, and then they give out in the form of a result. And they conclude saying what all can be done in order to maybe conserve that or protect that, or any other recommendation that they want. And then they submit those papers or the document to the journal that this particular forum hosts. So there are different journals where you can find different kinds of papers contributed by the research all over the world. So here also, if you want to understand what are the different works that have been done, let's say for the significance sake, so you can give the keywords here. So let's say some of you are doing on birds, marine life, crabs, prawns, say goods and services in forest, or goods and services of marine. All that different keywords can be keyed in this particular search bar or in this keywords. So you will get umpteen number of research papers. So you can download these research paper and then go through how the research has been carried out. You don't have to be too technical, but for your age and your classroom school level, you can give out the report. So this is about all the important websites and the link. So I'll take up the questions at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepthi, for that wonderful session, sharing all that links and the websites and the databases which the students can refer. So I hope all of you students have made a note of various sessions and the links and the websites that you can refer to gather information. Now, next session was supposed to be from Bharat on maps and remote sensing. However, I see that a lot of questions have been coming on projects. So I thought I will continue the session first and then hand it over to Bharat. So I'll be talking about birds in the beginning and briefly introduce about plants, and also tell you what you have to do in your project, because I see a lot of questions coming up. Give me one moment. Let me just share my screen quickly. Okay, so my topic for today is birds. So basically, I will introduce you about what are birds and what are their habitats. And then when you start your project, for all of you, those who want to do primary research, where you want to collect the data yourself. So I will tell you how to identify the birds and some of the links which can help you in that, and also how to document what you have identified. So this is what we will look at today. So let us begin with understanding what are birds. So birds are basically classified as aves. They are feathered. They are the only organisms which have feathers in the entire animal kingdom. They have wings, irrespective of they use it for flight, swimming, or no use at all. So they have wings. Then they have 2 legs. Then they are warm-blooded. Okay, and okay. All right. So they are warm-blooded, and they are the only organisms in the entire animal kingdom which lay hard-shelled eggs. There are so many other organisms which lay eggs, but then birds are the only creatures that lay hard-shelled eggs. Then they are also vertebrates, as most of you all would have studied in your higher classes. And another unique thing about birds in the entire animal kingdom is that they are the only creatures which have beak, or in ornithology we call it as bill. Okay, so the beak is a very high adaptation which is performed by the birds over centuries, which they use to, which is specialized to consume a variety of food. Now, since birds have developed wings, they became highly locomotive and they have traveled across the globe. Again, that is not true in terms of all the birds. Some of the birds still are restricted to certain very small geographical location. So they are called as endemic birds. Okay, then there are widespread birds which travel long distances and sometimes across the globe. So when we look at the world map, there is no place on earth where you can say that I went there and did not see any bird. So birds are present in all the terrestrial and aquatic habitats across the globe. So I'm not getting deeply into the classification part. What I want you to keep in mind is, since birds were highly locomotive and approached different parts in the globe, they all were exposed to different types of habitat. And when they started living there and feeding on the food available in those habitats, they started specializing or making small adjustments to themselves and adapting to that environment, and in turn have diversified in a very wide way. Okay, that is why we see about 9,702 different types of species, and each species has a population of its own. So that is how much of birds that we can see around us. Now, birds are available in different habitats I just mentioned in the previous slide. So let us look at what are the different habitats. The first one is the wooded forests. Under wooded forests, you have the evergreen forest, semi-evergreen forest, moist deciduous, dry deciduous. All these come under wooded forest. Then we have grasslands. There are 2 types. One is on the slopes, that is on top of the mountains, and the other one is the plains, where it's on the lowlands. Okay, now one thing that we need to keep in mind is that grasslands are very important habitats by itself, and they have their own biodiversity living there. So a lot of times I have seen people coming up and say, there is so much of open area here, so let's go plant some trees. So it's important that we understand habitats and do conservation measures based on that particular habitat, and not copy one particular conservation measure to all the different habitats. So that will not work. In turn, in the name of conservation, we will be spoiling that habitat. Next is rocky outcrops. So people living in Bangalore, you would have seen a lot of rocky outcrops across the city and in the outskirts. Then there are wetlands. The Lake 2020 conference itself is based on starting with the work on the wetlands. So wetlands are one of the most productive and resourceful habitats for birds. So there are different types of birds that live here, and I'll tell you why and how in a little while. Then there are very high mountains, that is high altitude mountains. The example I can give you is the Himalayas. So we have birds that are living in the Himalayas, and also some which cross over through Himalayas. So there are a lot of birds that we can see when you visit Himalayas as well. In those conditions where the weather is so cold, and the oxygen level is so less, they are able to survive there without any oxygen masks or cylinders. So it's a very surprising thing, and highly adaptive capacity of the birds that has enabled them to live in these testing conditions. Then another challenging habitats are the deserts, both the cold and the hot deserts. So in the cold deserts also we find birds during summers in more diverse species, and during winters some of the species which are very well adapted to live there. And then in the hot deserts you can see a lot of scavengers and the birds of prey which have adapted really well to sustain in these habitats. And finally, there are the oceans and seas. Like I said, birds are found in all the terrestrial and aquatic habitats. There are a group of birds which are called the pelagic birds, which live 24/7, 365 days in the mid-open waters. So these birds come onto the land only to breed, and otherwise the non-breeding population will continue to live in the oceans. Day and night, they live in the mid-waters. They have adapted themselves in such a way that they can sustain in that conditions. Now, when you start going out to start your project, you will see a lot of birds, but then you will not be able to identify them straight away. It takes time. So sometimes it can be frustrating when you cannot identify the birds. So what you need to do in those cases is you need to become familiar with the general shape, color, and behavior of birds. See, I have a lot of students who message me or email me saying that they saw some bird and want some help in identification. So I ask them to describe them. But then if they say they just saw a black bird, it is very difficult to say what species it is. So many birds are there which is in black color. So there are certain things that you need to observe, which I will be letting you know. Then the second thing is, I have seen certain students who come up and say they want to see certain birds and they have been looking around, but they are not able to find it. Now, what we need to keep in mind is there are birds that are specific to certain habitats. So unless we go and search in those habitats, we will not be able to find those birds everywhere. So that also we need to understand what kind of habitat we can find what birds in. So when it comes to names of birds, majority of the birds have been given the names based on their physical appearance, that is morphology. Okay, so based on their colors on a particular region, or their feathers being long in the tail or on the head, there is a spike like hairstyle like most of you do. So this kind of adaptations, what can be seen, based on that the names have been given. Okay, so it is important for us to understand at least the general terms that are used for the naming. Then when you see the bird next time, you will be able to easily relate to the name and remember the name. Otherwise, it takes a very long time to understand the name and remember it. So if you do it in this way, you will be easily able to remember the names. Then the next thing is the size. Like I said, whenever you see a bird, identify the size. You have to compare it with a bird that you know. So the first size that you can compare it with is a sparrow. The small bird, if you have seen, then you can say I saw a black bird which was similar in size with sparrow. And then if it is slightly larger than sparrow, you can say sparrow plus, sparrow minus, something like that. Okay, then the next size that we see, excuse me, then the next size that you can see is the myna, which is slightly larger. So you can compare any bird that is in that range to myna. Then the next size that you can compare is the crow. And finally, the kite or eagle. Okay, based on this, we will be able to relate to the bird family or the bird size and then help you in identification of the bird. Then once you have identified the shape or the size and the color, the next thing that you need to look at is the beaks. Because birds have very well adapted beaks, like I mentioned earlier. What adaptation we can see in these beaks are, they are very specific to what they eat. For example, a generalist beak is designed in such a way that it can eat a variety of food items. That's why we call them generalist. Then an insect catching beak is very well designed to catch insects that are hiding in between the vegetation. Then the third one is the surface skimming, where you can see very clearly that the lower mandible, that is a lower beak, is longer than the upper beak. Now, this adaptation is because this bird likes to eat fish but does not want to get its body wet. So what it has done, it has grown its lower beak longer. This takes centuries together and many generations to make these changes. But it has, today we can see this adaptation wherein the bird just flies over the surface of the water, inserting only the lower beak into the water. So any fish that is swimming in the surface of the water will straight away slide into its mouth. Okay, so similarly, when you look at all the different types of beaks, whatever you can see on the slide here is just a representation. And there are so many different types of beaks that you can see other than what is mentioned here. Okay, so what we need to understand basically is that by looking at the beak type, we can understand what the bird eats. And based on that, we can identify where we can find the bird. Okay, so let's look at the next thing that we need to keep in mind. That is the feet adaptations. Now, feet adaptations, I understand, will be slightly difficult for you to observe from a distance. So if you have a very good camera or a binoculars, you can zoom in and see the shape of the leg and then identify what type of habitat that they live in. See, for example, here the heron's leg, the first one on the left at the top, it has longer digits. It means that it lives on the surrounding water bodies. Why? Because the soil is wet. So you would have noticed that when we keep our feet there, our leg sinks. So to avoid this, they have grown the digits to be longer so that the weight is spread across and then the legs don't sink inside. So similarly, all the different feet adaptations that you can see here, they are all adapted to specific conditions or specific functions. For example, the eagle, its digits are bulkier to carry heavy weight. Then that of a duck, you can see that there is a web-like structure. The skin growth is there like a web in between the digits, which helps it to swim. Like this, it is important that we observe this. Okay, if you do not have a camera or a binocular, it's okay. You can make other observations, like the wing adaptations. Now, not always you see the bird sitting in one place, so you might see them flying across. So you can see what type of wing adaptation it has, and based on that, we can narrow down the selection to a particular group of birds, and from that, with other observations like the color, the size, and things like that, we can easily identify what species of bird it is. Now, other than that, in birds, we see sexual dimorphism, wherein the male and the female looks very different in certain species, whereas in some species, they look very identical. Now, here are two examples. One is Ashyprinia, which I have put, which is very commonly seen in Bangalore. Anywhere there is a lot of vegetation, you can see this particular bird in between the bushes with loud calls, continuous calls. Okay, so this bird, the male and the female looks very similar to each other. The only difference is the male is slightly brighter when compared to females. Otherwise, they are identical. The color, the shape, the size, everything is identical. However, when we look at the quails, the kogile, what we call in Kannada, the males and females look so different that people confuse it and write it down as two different species. You can see that the male is completely black here and the female is brown with white spots. They look like two different bird species, but they are not. They belong to the same species. The black is the male and the other one is the female. So when we observe birds, we need to understand these things. Otherwise, we will again write down as two different bird species which are unidentified. And then in certain species, only in the breeding season, the dimorphism happens. Otherwise, they look identical. For example, this is a picture of a rosy starling, wherein both of them, the male and the female, look very similar during the non-breeding season. And in the breeding season, this image was taken, wherein you can see that the males have elongated feathers on their head. We call that as crest. Okay, you can see two birds here with elongated feathers. So those are the two males, and the rest of them are females and juveniles. So we can make these observations only if we understand what birds are and the sexual dimorphism and the breeding and non-breeding plumages that we can observe in birds. Now, this is another example. This is a common bird that you can see. The previous one was a migratory, so not everyone would have seen it. So I have added another image of a bird species which is commonly seen around. So anywhere there is cattle or around water bodies, you can see the cattle egret, like you can see on the left side, completely white with yellow beak. However, during the breeding season, the strong males will turn in, they grow golden brown feathers on their head, neck, and the rump, that is the lower back. So as you can see on the right side, and also the beak color also slightly changes, and also the leg color changes. So these kind of changes are happening, which is very interesting to observe. So this breeding and non-breeding season changes, you can note down if you observe it. Now, generally, the breeding season right now for all these will start in December. So for the conference, you might not be able to see all these things, but you can continue observing birds wherever you go, around your home, school, or wherever you travel. You can always observe them. Then what you can observe is the behavior of the birds. There are so many different behaviors that you can observe, and you will be mesmerized with some of them. Okay, so I will not cover all those things here. Some of those interesting behaviors have been covered in the my other talk, which is called Know Your Birds, which is recorded in the session, webinar session, which happens every week. So Bharat will be sharing the link on that, and you can definitely go back and observe that. Then when we look at bird behavior in general, you can see the feeding of birds, nesting behavior. Then some of the birds of prey, you can see them hunting, or the courtship behavior, where the male is trying to attract the female. So all these observations, if you have come across, then you can definitely note down in your project. Then another interesting phenomena of birds is the migration. Whenever we hear the term migration, we remember birds. So that is because birds have been studied from centuries together, and bird migrations have been known to man from centuries. So that is why whenever we hear the migration, we refer them to bird migration. Okay, so bird migration is a very interesting phenomena. There are different types of migration in that. So when you document the birds, this is actually the migratory season. So if you are doing primary research, or even if you are doing secondary research, you can try to identify which are the resident birds which are locally available in your study area, and which are the migratory birds which come from different places. So that will also be very interesting to observe. So you can make that observation in your project. Then ecological significance of birds are various, like TVR sir mentioned. He showed a picture of the hawk where it was depending on snake in the food web. Similarly, several birds are dependent on different organisms as their food. Okay, so the dependent species are varying. Some of the birds are directly dependent on plant products, that is fruits, nectar, and other vegetation, that is the leaves themselves. And some of the birds feed on insects that hide in the vegetation. Some of the birds feed on secondary consumers, that is the rodents, or it could be the snakes and other organisms. And similarly, there are some birds which are feeding on dead animals also. They are called scavengers. So they are spread across the food webs and available in different trophic webs as well. So they help in biological control. So anywhere you have a lot of plants and insects have been infesting them and attacking on the plants. So if you allow the birds to come there naturally, so they will come and control the population of the insects, so that the plants are saved and you don't have to apply any pesticides or insecticides. Then they are also performing the duty of pollination and seed dispersal. So a lot of birds which are dependent on nectar, they contribute towards pollination. And those who are dependent on fruits, or which are generally called as frugivores, they perform seed dispersal, because they swallow the entire fruit sometimes altogether if it is small berries, and then defecate the seeds, inner seeds, in a different place. So that is why we call birds as efficient farmers of a forest ecosystem, because they transfer the seeds to different areas, maintaining diversity in vegetation. Then a lot of birds are keystone species. Now we have studied, this is a very interesting thing, that where a lot of other organisms are dependent on birds. So they are studied as keystone species across the globe. So there are several species which are considered as keystone species. So if you find any of these species in your area, you can identify and document what are the other dependent species and how they are dependent, and how if their population goes up or down, how it will vary the ecosystem services and other components in the ecosystem. you can do a study like this. Then bioindicators. Bio means life, and indicators, they indicate something that is happening around. So bioindicators are birds. Now, across the globe, when you refer a lot of papers, you will see that birds have been described as bioindicators because they don't need any complicated equipments for you to observe them. And by observing birds, you will be able to tell if there is any variation that is happening in the ecosystem. So that is why they are studied as bioindicators. And you can also study birds as bioindicators if you select a particular ecosystem to do your project on. Now, when you start identifying birds, this is the particular format that you can use to document them, wherein you can put the serial numbers to understand how many species you have documented, then the common name which can be derived. And like I said, most of the common names will have their morphological features. So how they are, their colors, their size, their feather patterns, all these will come under the common name. So you can describe that. Then vernacular name is the local name. So this can be multiple languages, or in Kannada, or in Sanskrit, or Hindi, or any language that you prefer, which is yours, or anything that is interesting, you can add that under vernacular names. And scientific name is the binomial nomenclature, where proper classification has been done and the name has been given to the birds. So this will not vary globally. So everywhere they use the same scientific name, but the common name and vernacular name varies with geographical location. Then if you are interested in documenting the population of the birds, then you can have this numbers column. Otherwise, it is not required. So in numbers, you can put it in tally marks so that you don't have to scratch and write again when you see more birds of the same species. Okay, and activity, whenever you observe birds from your windows or balconies or terrace, you can see the birds, then you can document their activities also, whether they were flying or feeding. Like in behaviors, I told you so many different activities, right? So you can refer to any of those activities, and if you see them, you can mention it in this particular column. Now, these are certain websites from where you can get the data for your project if you are not doing fieldwork on your own. So year-wise, location-wise, data is available in most of these websites. So you can definitely refer them and gather the data for yourself. Deepti has also shared a lot of information on these aspects. So I'll not go deep into it. Just one which is very simple to use is iNaturalist. So I've just shown how you can use that particular database. So when you log into iNaturalist, this is the homepage that you will land on. And from here, you can click on the Explore option, and you will get a page like this. Okay, where it will show all the documentation that has happened globally, whatever the observations are. So you can see under observations, you have two blank columns. One is for species, and the other one is for location. Now, when you're beginning the project, I understand that you do not know the species by name. So what you can do, by the category you can search, that is birds, butterflies, reptiles, whatever the category you want to research on. So you can put that here. For example, here I have put birds and then put the location as Bangalore. And then when I hit on go, I get this particular page. This is the results that come up. So for entire Bangalore city, both urban and rural, what are the number of observations you can see there, and how many species are there? 194 species it is showing, how many people have identified and how many observed. So all that data is available here. Now from here, if you just scroll down or click on the species, then it will show you all the 194 species are shown with images. Okay, then when you click on one of the image, this is how the page will look, wherein it will show when it was last observed, where it was observed, how many times it has been observed. Okay, and also it will give you a graph of monthly variations on which month more observation was made for this particular species and which month it was low. So all these interesting things you can bring into your project aspect. And then when you scroll down from here, it will show you the geographical distribution of this particular species. So for example, here we are looking at black kite. So black kite is available in all these marked areas, and observations have come from all those grids that you can see. Okay, now when you further scroll down, you can also get the information on its taxonomy. For example, its common name and its scientific name, along with all the other different names and subspecies that are mentioned along with it. Okay, and further, if you click on a similar species, sometimes what you see, you might not be able to relate it to the picture here or identify the species. So when you see a similar one, you can come down here and then click on the similar species, so that any bird that looks similar to it has been given here. So you can compare your image or your observation with all the different species available here with their pictures, and then identify which species you have seen. Now, when some species look very identical, so what I request you to do is, when you find out the name, when you finalize the name, check its geographical location also, because sometimes there will be a similar looking species but not present in your study area. So don't put that name if it is not present in your study area unless you are 100% sure that it is the same species. Next, we were supposed to have a session on plants as well, but GR Rao sir could not make it. So I'm just touching upon the plant section. If you are documenting plants, Deepthi has already shared so many different sources from where you can get the data. But when you put it on the slides or in your project, just make sure you don't put all of them together. Separate them as per the category, that is grass, climber or creeper, herb, shrub or trees. Because I've seen it will be a master list with everything there, and when we ask if it is a tree or a climber or a grass variety, then they will not know. So it is better you make this bifurcation. Then if you are doing primary studies, then you can observe the leaf shape and document that. So based on the leaves, you can narrow down your search and then observe what family they belong to or what species they are from. Similarly, the flowers also, if they are in the flowering season, they will be producing a lot of flowers. So you can identify what shape of flower it produces and narrow down its family and eventually identify its species. Now, these are also some of the websites where you can get information about different vegetation. That is, Flowers of India provides you all the plant names. That is angiosperms mainly, the flowering plants. So it's a database for flowering plants, and you can refer that. Flora.indianbiodiversity.org is a database where you can get all the types of vegetation, that is flora, that you can see in India. Then medicinalplants.in is a source where you can refer to get all the information about the medicinal plants, for what diseases they are used, in what form they are used, and what parts of the plants are used. All these information is available. Then Flora of Peninsular India. For the Peninsular India, if your study area is within this boundary, then you can get the vegetation information about the flora from this particular website. Then if you're doing primary studies, you can use the last three mentioned applications to identify the plants. That is Google Lens. You can use it to take a photograph of the plant, and it will try to identify all the similar looking plants. So you'll have to cross-reference to see if they are found in your geographical location and verify that it is that plant, and then put it on your checklist. Now, this is the format for the PPT. I see a lot of questions based on how to do a project and what is the format for a PPT and so on. So this is the format that you need to follow. You need to, you will have 8 minutes to present your entire project orally. So you can have, there is no restriction on the number of slides. So these are the formats that you need to follow. First, you need to have a title, introduction about your project and not the topic, then objectives of your study. See, some of you had asked a question saying to describe about birds. See, describing about birds is already done. Unless it's a new species or a subspecies observation, you don't have to do that. What you can do is take a particular study area and identify the birds, butterflies, or the entire biodiversity there, and then identify their functions in the ecosystem that you have chosen. So these kind of studies you can take and put them in this particular format. So if there are any questions, do put them in your comments, and then we will be answering them at the end. I thank all of you for patiently listening to my session, and I thank the organizing committee of Lake 2020 for giving me this opportunity. Now we will follow up with the regular schedule as it was given to you. Bharat will be explaining about maps and the remote sensing information. Now, for any study area, it is very important that you have a map in your project. So even in your PPT, we will be asking you while evaluation is going on, where is your map of the study area? So it's important that you put a map of your study area and identify different components that are there in your map. So for that, Bharat will be helping you to understand how to do that and what are the importance of doing all of that information. Okay, so I hand over the session to Bharat. And I thank you all once again and wishing you all the best for your projects.
Good afternoon, one and all. So we will discuss about the maps and field data collection. So just now, TVSR and as well as Deepthi highlighted about the various kind of projects you can be handled for the Lake 2020 conference. So also Riju has explained about the significance of having the study area in the presentation. So for preparing the study area map, we require some basic information, and also you require some tools to prepare that study area maps. So we will discuss that in detail now. So first we'll try to understand what is a map. Map is nothing but a diagrammatic representation of an area or a surface, like there are different features present on the earth like lake, roads, landscape, which you will represent in a plain paper. So it provides a specific information about an area which represents the 3D surface on a 2D plane. So each feature represented by a set of point, line, polygon. For example, if it is a building, you will be represented as a polygon. If it is a tree or any electric pole, you can represent it as a point. If it is a road, you can represent it as a line feature. So all the linear features are represented as a line. All the buildings are the structures, you will be represented as a polygon. And the trees are such kind of basic information, you will represent as a point. So what kind of maps are there? Based on the scale, there are various maps such as cadastral map, which talks about the village level data, topographic map, which talks about any particular landscape, geographical map represents for a particular region, and atlas maps is nothing but the whole world you will represent as a on a plain paper, which is nothing but the atlas map. So each maps are prepared based on the purpose as well as the content. So for example, if you are interested in roads, you will have the road map, specific map, which is nothing but road map. And there is a specific railway maps also there. There are cultural map which represent the various religious structures present in a particular area, and also the tourism activity. You can prepare based on your purpose and content. The maps will be varied. So in your childhood, you would have drawn a simple map mapping the distance between your house to school, and in between you would also represent some of the features. The same way you would have looked at some of the world atlas maps. Based on our purpose, you will represent the different features. So here in your basic map, you would have represent all the features by drawing a particular structure, and also you will represent the north arrow and also scale bar, which is a minimum requirement for any map. So you would have looked at some of the political maps which represent the roads as well as the boundaries of a particular region. So, and also if you look at the specific forest cover map, which represent the what kind of forest types are there in a particular region. For example, if here the Belgaum Dharwad Panaji map, where it is represents the violet color as the evergreen map, the evergreen forest cover, and the brown color represents the deciduous forest types. Likewise, based on the content and the purpose, the maps will be varied. So whenever you consider any map should have the basic information such as title of the map and also the number represents at which location this map belongs to. So these are the simple way to remember the particular map. So that's why they have provided. Survey of India is the nodal agency who prepares the maps. So you can also use these maps to identify features present on the particular area. So the map should have the title, number, scale, which reference to measure the distance between one object to other object. And also the direction. Direction is very important. Whether the object is located at the which direction, and based on the direction, you will also able to say what is the distance between your current observation and the study area, the whole study area. And also the legend, which represent the features present in a particular map. So there are this map is of scale 1:50,000. 1:50,000 represents 1 unit on the map represents the 50,000 units on the ground. So whatever the 1 unit you have considered on the map, it is equivalent to 50,000 units present on the actual ground. So that's how you represent the features present on the earth in a plain paper. So when you how to access these kind of maps to understand the basic information of your study area, you have to go to Survey of India NAKSHE.uk.gov.in/home.aspx, where you will get all these maps, which is available for free of cost. You can also download your area of interest. So if you are working on the Bangalore or Mangalore or any other region, you can get the Survey of India topo sheet to understand the basic information about your current study area. So each map 1:50,000 scale is divided by 15 minutes by 15 minutes. At every 5 minutes by 5 minutes, you will be able you can see the divisions, which will be help you to understand the coordinates of a particular region. For example, this feature represents the 77° 3 minute. So likewise, latitude of 13° some 12 minutes. So likewise, you can identify what is the coordinates of a particular aspect present on the map. So how to download? You can just go to Survey of India website, where you can just provide your mobile number. You will get a OTP. So which is based on your. You can also provide the Aadhaar card details. Then you will be able to download your area of interest. So to carry out the field investigation, you require to collect the data in the field. So you can make use of GPS, which is nothing but global positioning system, which help you to identify the coordinates of a particular location in terms of latitude and longitude. For example, if you don't have the GPS with you, you can also use the mobile phones. Mobile phone has a assisted GPS system. So assisted global positioning system, which works based on your mobile phone signal. So you can also use the AGPS available in your mobile phone. You can also carry out the field work. For example, if you see this IISC map, which we prepared by carrying out the field work. So we have also represented the different buildings, and also we represented the different roads, which is in terms of the linear structure, are the polyline. So the buildings are represented as a polygon. So and also direction, scale based on the field data which collected using the GPS. So the same way, if you are mapping a particular park or a particular lake, you can also use the AGPS, which is available with you in the mobile phone. So you can also use some of the tools which I will explain in next slides. So these are the different features. For example, if you are mapping a trees within a particular ward, you can have the point data, and also entire ward you can represent as a polygon, and also the roads, and also some of the streams present you can represent as a line feature. So as I told earlier, GPS, which is also satellite-based system, which is mainly maintained by the United States Department of Defense, and which provides the location and also the time information across the globe. It transmits the radio signals to GPS, defines the position, time, and also calculates the velocity across the weather and time. And application mainly used for the navigation, positioning, as well as timing. So since we are having the difficulty to use the GPS, we use the AGPS system, which is available in your mobile phone. Based on your telephone signal, you will be able to track the location. So how to collect the data? You have to use this kind of field book where you can note down the GPS ID, or from your mobile phone you can provide the ID number, and also latitude, longitude. You can also use some of the apps. I will explain in detail. And also what is the accuracy. If you are unable to get, fine, not an issue. Latitude, longitude, and also the altitude, temperature, elevation, and also description, whether it is a solid waste dumping site or whether it is a lake, lake inlet or outlet, whether you are collecting some samples. So all those kind of description you can provide. And also you can also collect the photograph ID and also date of the photograph and description about the photograph. This is the basic information you required when you carry out the field analysis. So this is the best basic information what we have shown you. For example, if you are measuring the solid waste site, you can also collect the latitude, longitude, and description as solid waste site. And also you can also represent the color. And also for example, if you are working on the soil parameters, if you are working on the macrophyte, based on the requirement, you can make use of the field book. For example, if you are measuring the height of a tree, you can also collect the location coordinates, but your description will be the height of the tree. Instead of the, for example, if you are working on the birds, the theme will become the birds. So tools, you need to create a map. You require Google Earth or Map INR or Terrain Navigator Pro, Google Maps. These are the basic tools available. And also there are so much web sources available where you will get lot of spatial data, which is the KGIS portal, Karnataka GIS portal, where you will get lot of information. And also our Indian remote sensing system is also a satellite remote sensing system maintaining some of the data in the Bhuvan portal. You can also look at the Bhuvan portal. So for preparing the study area map, we require the Google Earth. So Google Earth, which is available for free of cost, you can download it, and also it will be supported in even your mobile phone. There is a option called Earth app, which is available in your Play Store. You can use that app, and if you are using the desktop system, you can use the Google Earth Pro, which is a more standard version. It is available for free of cost. You can download whatever the data you create in Google Earth. It will be stored in terms of KML or KMZ extension. KML stands for Keyhole Markup Language, whereas KMZ stands for Keyhole Markup zip file. So you need to use the KML format, which is the most standard format. You can store the data. So as I told earlier, we need to create this kind of features like point, line, and polygon. So how to create that? First, you install the Google Earth. So when you open the Google Earth, it will be you will see the globe-like symbol. In the search bar, you can search for your area of interest. For example, Halsur Lake, or if you are interested in some of the lakes which are Varthur or Bellandur Lake, you can search the name of the lake and click search, or the location name you can search. So it will be zoomed to the particular location. In my case, I have given the Halsur Lake as a area of interest. I have first initially given the Bangalore, and within the Bangalore, I have selected the Halsur Lake. So I just typed Halsur Lake. So it has zoomed to the Halsur Lake. So my assignment is I need to map the features which are present in this particular lake. So for creating that, there are so many tools available. One is creating a point. Next one is polygon and path. So we need to use all these three. For example, if you are mapping the trees within this particular lake, you can use the point symbol. If you are trying to measure the distance between one point to the other point, or if you want to create the features present here in terms of the roads or roads as well as the streams, you can use the path feature. If you want to create a boundary of this lake, if you want to distance the boundary of the lake, you can use the polygon option. So first I have selected the boundary option. So I will just click on the boundary option. So in the toolbar, I have clicked on add polygon option. So what I will do is, it is very simple technique. In your childhood, you have kept the image on the image in your left hand, and you have put some white paper, or you have done some tracing. So the same thing you will also do this here. You have to first click on the edges of this lake, and when you complete that when you reach the first point, you can just click the right click button in the mouse and provide the name of the lake which you have digitized, and based on your requirement you can provide the color as well as the style you want to provide, and then under the measurement tab you will be able to see what is the area of the lake. So what I have done is I just digitize the entire boundary of the lake by using the polygon feature. So you can also click the feature here in the filling. You can also make it as outline so that you can see the inside features. If you make it as a filled plus outline, you can't see what is present inside. So that's where you have to make option as only outline option. So then in the measurement tab, you will be able to see what is the area of that particular lake. So now I have done the boundary of the lake, and also I am interested to prepare some of the trees which are present here. I will use that different symbols to represent what are the different features present, like swimming pool, treatment plant, and also trees. I will use the different symbols to represent the features present on the particular area. So based on after that, what you have to do is go to file, click save option, click save image. So if the moment you click save image, it will be show the direction as well as scale bar, and also it provides the legend. So based on that, you can also you can edit the details if you want. Based on that, you can create your study area map. So here I have selected all these features. I have digitized here. So that's where it has shown all these features present in this particular map. And also the map should contain direction as well as scale bar and also title. So where I have provided the name as Alsur Lake and also the legend and direction. After that, I pressed save image so that I can able to save the study area map. So by and also if you are trying to carry out some of the vegetation mapping studies, you can also create a map in the Google Earth, and you can take to the field, and also you can verify whether there is a change from Google Earth as compared with the ground. So based on this also, you can also validate your data. So to carry out the field work, you can also use the map INR software which is available in the Play Store for free of cost. You can use your mobile phone, and you can collect the data when you have gone to field. So use this map INR effectively and collect the data in the field. So it is a very simple app which is available in Play Store. You can have the backdrop as Google Satellite or OpenStreetMap or Google Maps. Even it will work offline. So for example, if you don't have the signal when you have gone very deep inside the like forest area or particular park or the near to a lake where there is no signal, even if you have first point taken when there is a signal, if you have taken other points, then it will try to provide the location detail even there is no signal also. So that's where it is considered as offline mapping. So you can also, like what I have shown in Google Earth, you can also create a point, line, polygon feature, and also you can measure the distances. You can also take the photographs. So here we have mapped one of the forest area in Uttarakhand district. So Devi Mane Khan. So Devi Mane Sacred Grove. So what I have done is I have considered all the boundary point and created the by using the polygon option. I created the boundary. So initially I have taken all the points, and I connected all these points by using the polygon feature by using the map INR. Even you can straight away use the polygon option also if you are creating the boundary. So likewise, very simple apps you can use, and you can create a study area maps. Apart from that, if your mobile is not supporting map or you have any issue, you can also use GPS test, which help you to collect the at least coordinates. For example, if you are unable to create a map within the map INR software, you can also at least collect the coordinates by using the GPS test. A very simple app which is also available in Play Store for free of cost. You can use any of one of them to collect the field data. So I hope I have explained, I have provided a basic information how to create a map using the Google Earth as well as MapINR software. I hope I am clear to everyone. I also want to show one important information for your reference. So in YouTube, we have also archived all these expert talks. So if you have already aware about our EWRG Environmental Education channel, which you are accessing now, currently we have so many playlists like Lake 2020, and also expert talks, Bangalore, Dead City, and Western Ghat. These are the different playlists we have created under this channel. Under each channel, we have archived set of talks. For example, if you look at the Lake 2020, all earlier orientation programs were archived here. By clicking here, you can by looking at this Lake 2020, you can also have an idea of what are the earlier, how the earlier session were carried out, and you can also get some idea. And another one is expert talk, where theme wise we have we have archived some of the experts lectures. So here you can also look at the theme wise, like birds, butterflies, insects, as well as diatom. All those talks were archived here. And also there is a playlist called Bangalore Dead City, where TV Ramchandra sir has given extensive information about Bangalore and the pollution and the initiatives from our lab. All those were archived in the Bangalore Dead City section. Under Western Ghat section, where we have mainly talked about how the forests have changed in the Western Ghat and what is the kind of impact we are facing because of the deforestation. All those were explained in detail. You can also look at these 4 sections. If you look at the expert talk exclusively, so if in the expert talk, we have taken the theme as Know Your Ecosystem. Under the Know Your Ecosystem, we have archived the talks like Know Your Plants, Know Your Birds, Know Your Butterflies, Know Your Insects, Know Your Fishes, and Know Your Algae. So each expert talk is archived under this playlist called Expert Talk. So you can also go through it for your. It will be helpful for your project as well as for your knowledge upgradation. So likewise, medicinal plant, freshwater algae, waters, as well as spiders, as well as climate change, and also diatoms. All these talks were archived here. For example, you have missed some of the expert lectures today. Like for example, there is a expert talk on water. Because of some unavoided thing, Vinay has unable to come. So we have archived his talk here. You can also go through here with respect to the how to carry out the hydrological investigation. And for example, if you are interested in lake, how much water is stored in a particular lake and what is the depth, all those things he has explained in detail. And there is a talk on even soil also, which is available in the Lake 2020 section. You can also, if you are interested to carry out some of the experiment with respect to soils, he has given a brief information in the Lake 2020 earlier sessions. You can go through the earlier session also. If you have any doubts, you can also pose the questions to us and also send an email. We will try to answer it. I hope I have made it clear to everyone. If you have any queries, please post it in a comment section. We will try to answer in the end. Now I request Riju to take over.
Thank you very much, Bharat, for that session on maps. I hope all of you have understood the concept of maps and how you can map a particular lake or an ecosystem or a boundary, which you can create by yourself using all these applications that he has mentioned. And yeah, we did see a lot of questions on the maps as well, so we will be answering them at the end. For now, just understand that maps are important in every research project because we cannot study the entire globe at once. So we take a small geographical location for our study and then study and perform a study in that particular area. So to show what area we have selected, we need to use maps. So he has in detail explained about how you can do that, and how you can set the boundaries, and how you can calculate the area for it, and how you can map them with different components in your study area. So I thank Bharat on behalf of the organizing committee. And now we have a session on yeasts. So a lot of food that we eat are fermented because of small microorganisms. So one such group of microorganisms are the yeasts, and let's learn more about it from our colleague Ravi Shankar. I hand over the session to Ravi Shankar to talk to you about yeast. So if you want to do a study on microorganisms, if you have access to microscopes in your school or at home, then you can definitely study on microorganisms and their behavior, and how much time they take to perform certain functions and things like that. So let us welcome Ravi Shankar to enlighten us on yeasts. Over to you, Ravi Shankar.
So thank you, Briju. And as Briju said about that yeast, that is microorganism. So I will talk about yeast, where you can find it, and what the isolation of the yeast, how you can isolate from the fruits. So yeasts are eukaryotic single-celled microorganisms, and classified as members of the fungus kingdom. So the first yeast was originated hundreds of millions years ago, and now at least 1,500 species are currently recognized. So it sizes vary, depend on the species and environment. So it measures like 3 to 4 micrometer in diameter, and some it can also grow on 40 micrometer in size. So one of the most well-known in the species of yeast, that is Brewers yeast, that is called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And yeasts such as Candida albicans, better known as Candida, also present in our bodies. So Candida is not normally harmful but can cause infections. So as I said that this is classified in the fungus. So this is the classification in which this is present in 5 kingdoms that in 1969 that Vitacare has classified in and put into this fungus group. So what the difference between yeast and fungi? So fungi and yeast are two closely related organisms which belong to the kingdom fungi. So the main difference between yeast and fungi is that yeast is a unicellular, round-shaped organism, whereas fungi is a multicellular organism with filamentous hyphae. Some of the differences are also there, like yeast and fungi. So yeast is a microscopic fungus which comprises a single oval shaped cell and reproduce through budding, whereas fungi is a unicellular or multicellular spore producing organism feed on organic matter. Yeast are very common in the environment. Fungi found in damp, dark or steam filled areas. So yeast oval in shape and is colorless and smooth, whereas fungi have a fuzzy appearance. Colors can be green, orange, black, brown, purple, and pink. So yeast converts carbohydrate to alcohol during fermentation, and fungi secrete hydrolytic enzymes to external food sources and absorb nutrients through the cell wall. So yeast reproduce through budding. and fungi reproduce through sexual or asexual spores. So yeast are used in the baking industry and in the production of ethanol, and whereas fungi used in the production of cheese and antibiotics. Yeast also causes infection in humans, and it causes like ringworm or athlete's foot. So when I talk about the phylum, so it belongs to the phylum Ascomycota and Basidiomycota, and this belongs to the Cytridiomycota, Zygomycota, and Ascomycota. It also belongs to the Basidiomycota and the Glomerulomycota. So some of the example of the yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and the examples of the fungus like Imocor or Penicillium. So these were the differences between yeast and fungi. So what are the habitats of yeasts? Where you can find it? So yeasts are widely dispersed in nature with a wide variety of habitats. They are commonly found on the plant leaves, flowers, fruits, as well as in the soils. And these are also found in the surface of the skin and intestinal tracts of the warm-blooded animals like human animals, where they may also live symbiotically as parasites. The growth of yeast is affected by pH, temperature, and nutrient level. So what are the good yeast and bad yeast it can be? So uses of the yeast like it can be for the bread making, alcoholic beverage, and the food like idli or dosa. And for the bad pathogenic like some yeast like albigans is there which can infect humans as well as animals also, which can cause rashes on the skins of the human or animals. So how you can isolate yeast? So as I said, the sources of yeast are the fruits. So any fruit you can take for the isolation of yeast. You just take one fruit, wash it, cut it, and put into a distilled water overnight. Then you have to prepare media, that region that should be the 1 liter distilled water. So for the media you have YEPDA. So Y that is yeast extract, P for peptone, D for dextrose, and A for agar. And the quantity you should take for the yeast extract like 10 gram, peptone 20 gram, dextrose 20 gram, and agar 20 gram. Now you have to prepare media in the 1 liter water, and then you have to autoclave this media to 40 to 45 minutes at 1 degree centigrade in the autoclave. Now this media will be like this. Then you have to pour this media into the petri plates and keep it for the solidifying. Now you have to do the serial dilution with the fruit which you have cut and spaced for the overnight you have kept. Now you have to do serial dilution of that. So 1 gram you take that fruit for the serial dilution, and then do serial dilution like 1 ml, one like this. You have to do serial dilution to get the colony of the yeast. So once you do the serial dilution, you have to pour into these petri plates and keep into the incubator for 24 hours. After 24 hours, you will get colony like this of the yeast. So like you can get isolation of the yeast you can do, and that is how you can isolate yeast from the fruits. So now, what are the examples of the fermentation? So the fermentation refers to the metabolic process by which organic molecules like glucose, which converted into acid, gases, or alcohol in the absence of oxygen. So there are a number of products of the fermentation, and the most common like ethanol, lactic acid, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen. So these are the examples of some products like this. In the acetic acid, you can put some vegetables and you can ferment it. Like this is also fermented milk, which are the products of the yeast, and this is also sauerkraut, which is shredded cabbage. Sauerkraut is just a word which has been taken from the German. This is German word. Sauer means acid and kraut means cabbage. So this is sauerkraut, and some of the vegetables also like kimchi you can prepare. So these are the examples of the fermentation. Thanks. So now I would like to say about the census. He will be saying about know your faces. So I hand over first to the Briju. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Ravi Shankar, for that session on yeasts. Highly informative and enlightening all the students on how they can isolate the yeast and understand their characteristics. So I thank you once again on behalf of the organizing committee of the Lake 2020. And now moving on, we have a session by my colleague Cincy. She is going to talk to you about lake ecosystems and what are the different aspects of lake ecosystems. So I know most of you had mentioned about lakes in the question. So here is your answer. In case it's not answered, then we will definitely answer it at the end. So I hand over the session to Cincy to talk to you about lakes.
Good evening, everybody. Now I will discuss on Know Your Lakes. Outline of the talk includes the water quality, then planktons like phytoplankton and zooplankton, then fish, macrophyte. Now I will discuss on the water quality. Water quality is the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of water. Water pollution means changes in water quality that can harm organisms or make water unfit for human uses. The contamination mainly because of the chemicals. Pollutions in lentic and lotic ecosystem like rivers and lakes occurs due to livestock waste, then pesticides from agriculture field, waste disposal nearby the water body, then pollution caused by car washing, then household sewage, factory or industrial waste, which will affect the aquatic biodiversity like fish, macrophyte. Okay. Sorry, some technical issue. I will start once again. Now I will discuss on Know Your Lakes. On the outline of the talk includes water quality, plankton like phytoplankton and zooplankton, then fish, macrophyte. Then now I will discuss on the water quality. Asilaba will discuss on the plankton, fish, and macrophyte. Water quality is the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of water. Water pollution means changes in water quality that can harm organisms or make water unfit for human uses. The contamination mainly because of the chemicals. Pollutions in lentic and lotic ecosystem, like our rivers and lakes, occurs due to livestock waste, then pesticides from agriculture field, waste disposal nearby the water body, then pollution caused by car washing, then household sewage, then factory or industrial waste, which will affect the aquatic biodiversity, like our fish, macrophyte, algae, zooplankton, etc. Various sources of water pollution are industrial discharge of chemical waste, discharge of untreated sewage, runoff containing pesticides or fertilizers from agriculture field, disposals of various solid waste, mining activities nearby water body, household waste, animal waste. All these affect the water quality. We know that water is a colorless, odorless liquid. Clear water will be transparent. Due to the rainwater runoff and other ways, water become turbid. If water is nutrient rich, algal blooms occurs. This green color is a algae. So, we wanted to do the water quality analysis. Water quality analysis involves monitoring of different physicochemical parameters like water temperature, dissolved oxygen, nutrients like N and P, nitrogen and phosphate, pH, electrical conductivity, TDS, that is total dissolved solids, then potassium, chloride, sodium, free CO2, then chemical oxygen demand, hardness, biochemical oxygen demand. This is the Vagdevi Villa School, Bidadi. Near to your school, you have the Vrishabhavdi river, reservoirs, lot of lakes also. You can monitor these water bodies and you can come up with a good project. Then other school, KK English High School and another Vagdevi Villa School. Near to your school also lot of lakes. You can monitor these lakes and you can come up with a good project. Before going to field, we need to arrange chemicals, meters and bottles required for our field work. We in the field, we wanted to do the sum of the parameters, some unstable parameters we wanted to do. That is, we can call it as a on-site parameter. The rest of the parameter we can do in our lab itself. Then we can collect water samples, then macrophyte samples, then fish, then algae, zooplanktons also. The on-site parameters like the temperature, dissolved oxygen, pH, electrical conductivity, TDS. The temperature will vary with the time and seasons also. The dissolved oxygen increases with the photosynthetic activity. pH will tell about water is acidic condition or alkaline condition. The pH is 7, that means the neutral. pH is greater than 7, that means the alkaline condition, and pH is less than 7, that means the water is acidic condition. Then electrical conductivity. The water has the ability to conduct electricity because of the positive and negative charged ions in the water. Examples: sodium, potassium, then calcium, magnesium, etc. Then TDS. TDS means total dissolved solids. It represents the total concentration of the dissolved substances in the water. Then chemical oxygen demand and biochemical oxygen demand tell about the organic pollution. The nutrients like nitrogen and phosphate. If nutrients increases, the algal blooms and massive growth of macrophyte occurs. The ionic components like hardness because of the calcium and magnesium, then the sodium, potassium, chloride. If water is polluted, all these parameters increases. The standard method followed for the water quality analysis. We have on-site parameters and the laboratory measurements. The hardness, calcium, magnesium, total alkalinity, chloride, biochemical oxygen demand and chemical oxygen demand, nitrate, orthophosphate, etc. we can do in our lab itself. Then on-site parameters, the water temperature, we can use the thermometer for the measurement. Then pH, then TTS and EC, that we can use the meters like pH meter, then EC meter and TTS meter. This is the Inland Surface Water Standard by CPCB. That means the CPCB means the Central Pollution Control Board. They have divided into 5 different classes: Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D and Class E. After your water quality analysis, you can compare your data with the standards. Then you can understand this water we can use for the drinking purpose, our outdoor bathing, fish culture, irrigations, etc. Then another standard, that is the BIS standard. They have given the desirable and permissible limits also. You can use these standards also. For more information, you can search of the Energy and Wetland Research Group, IISC Bangalore. Then you will get this web page. In this web page, wetlands, in here the research paper section is there. You just click on here, then you will get all the informations about the wetland, flora, diatoms, phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish, water, etc. These are the 2 links. Then we have 2 workbooks. One is the My Village Biodiversity. This is the link. And another one is the Environmental Monitoring in the Neighborhood. This is the link. These 2 books you can download and you will get the more informations about the water quality parameters, then mapping, then biodiversity, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cincy, for that enlightening session on lakes. I hope all of you students have understood how to monitor lakes, from what areas you can, what are the areas that you can monitor. And in case you are going for secondary information, then you have Cincy as well as Ramchandra sir have shown you the websites from where you can download that information, where IISC, our group, has done the experiments and published the results. So you can make use of that data and compare different lakes, or you can understand the status of a lake and understand over the years how it has changed and things like that. So you can think on those lines on how you can study about the lakes for all those of you who want to select lakes as your study area. Now we'll move on to the next session, which is by my colleague Sulabha. So she's going to be talking to you about different aquatic life forms. Now, since he has explained about various factors of a lake, now she will talk about all the biotic components of a lake. So let's welcome Asulabha. Thank you, Cincy, from the organizing committee of Lake 2020. Now over to you, Asulabha.
Thank you, Riju, for the introduction. So now I'll be talking about Know Your Aquatic Life Forms. Mainly, I'll focus on biological parameters. So the aquatic ecosystem, they support a wide variety of organisms, including microorganisms like algae, zooplankton, bacteria, then aquatic insects, then fishes, birds, etc. Then macrophytes are also, etc. Then in aquatic ecosystem, there's aquatic food chain, wherein algae are the primary producers. They have the chlorophyll content, they photosynthesize and produce food for other organisms in the food chain. This algae is eaten up by zooplankton. Zooplanktons are eaten up by fishes. Fishes are eaten up by the birds. And also you have benthivorous fishes, wherein they are found at the bottom of the sediments. They cause turbulations in the sediment and then allows all the nutrients to get released back to the water. So these nutrients are again taken up by algae and then they produce their own food, and this chain circulates. This means that there is always an energy and material flow across the aquatic food chain. So if water is polluted, the complete food chain or food web will be affected. Only pollution tolerant species will be thriving in polluted waters. So to maintain the biodiversity of ecosystem, it's very important that lakes should not get polluted. So next move on to planktons. So planktons are free floating plant-like or animal-like organisms that move according to the water currents. So plankton in Greek, the word plankton means wanderer or drifter. It moves in the water column with the help of water currents. So there are two types of plankton, phytoplankton and zooplankton. So phytoplankton, the name as the name suggests, phyto means something related to plants. So phytoplanktons are plant-like organisms. They have the ability to photosynthesize and produce food, and also they release oxygen to the water. So these are phytoplanktons. The next set is zooplankton. As the name suggests, zoo means something related to animals. They are animal-like organisms and that move in the water. So these two, phytoplankton and zooplankton, we cannot see through naked eye. We have to use a microscope to identify phytoplankton and zooplankton. This plankton, they react very rapidly to the ecological changes. So if water is polluted, a different kind of phytoplankton and zooplankton exists in water compared to unpolluted. So likewise, we can differentiate between polluted water and unpolluted water. So thus they are act as bioindicators. So they help in biomonitoring experiments. This is because these planktons, they have very short life cycle and they have a rapid rate of reproduction. So both phytoplankton and zooplankton are bioindicators in lakes and they can be used in biomonitoring experiments. So seeing the phytoplankton and zooplankton composition, we can understand whether a water body is polluted or not. So how can we collect planktons? So we have to use a plankton net. So through this plankton net, we have to pour about 50 liters of lake water, and all this samples will get accumulated at the tip of this plankton net. Then we have to carefully transfer this end tube to a sample container, and then we have to take it to the laboratory and look under the microscope. So what the students can do is they can look under the microscope, then draw sketches of both the phytoplankton and zooplankton, and then try to identify. So the identification keys, everything is available in the website that already TVS sir and Cynthia has talked about. So where do algae live? Algae can be found in marine habitats. So it can be in the form of seaweeds or as in the form of phytoplankton. Then freshwater habitats, phytoplankton are seen in streams, rivers, lakes, and ponds. Then on terrestrial habitats, that algae can be found attached to stone walls, tree bark, leaves, lichens, and on snow. So algae, the morphology, they are of four types. Mainly, they can be seen as unicellular algae. Like example is Chlamydomonas or Chlorella. They have single cell, and that single cell will perform all the functions. Then some algae can be found in colonies. Then some algae are filamentous. They are long, rod-shaped structures. Like example, Cladophora, Oscillatoria, then Stegoplonium, etc. So mainly these filamentous algae are found attached to some substrates, and they will grow very nicely on those substrate. Then some algae are multicellular like seaweeds, wherein they have different cells doing different specialized functions. And these are the commonly found algae groups in lakes, that is basilarophytes, euglenophytes, cyanophytes, and chlorophytes. So basilarophytes, these are also called diatoms. They are slight yellowish or to brownish in color, and they can be just found attached to stones, some substrates like stones, then aquatic plants, etc. So they are of two types: centric forms, that is radially symmetrical, and also pinnate forms, which is bilaterally symmetrical. The euglenophytes, for example, is Phacus, and another example is Euglena. These two species can be found in organically polluted lakes. Then cyanophytes, their example is Merismopedia, and then Microcystis, etc. So these are blue-green algae. So if we look under microscope, we can, if you see blue-green algae, then they are definitely cyanophytes. So these are the cyanophytes are the first organism, first algae to be evolved in our ecosystem. So these have the major contribution of cyanophytes is that they have contributed oxygen to our atmosphere. And these are chlorophytes. The example is Cetidespans, Pediastrum, and Clostridium. Then these are typically green in color. So and all these algae, they differ in their photosynthetic pigments, then chlorophyll content, and then various pigments like carotenoids and all, phycobilins, etc. So all these pigments, they decide the different, give various color to these algae. So seeing their composition also, we can differentiate algae. So these are the clean water algae. So all these algae can be found only in clean water. They cannot thrive in polluted waters. These are polluted water algae. So if water is polluted, all these algae, they grow very well in polluted waters and they dominate in the ecosystem. So to know more about algae, you can go to this YouTube link wherein I have talked about Noguer algae, wherein I have talked about the different algae, the different characteristics of algae, the different habitats they are found, and the economic importance as well as their importance in the nature. Then next is zooplankton. Zooplanktons are small animals found in lakes and oceans, and they move according to water currents and mixing. So these are animal-like. So you can see they have legs, eyes, mouth, etc. like animals, and they float, drift, or weakly swim in water. And these zooplanktons, they are main food for fishes and other invertebrate predators. Whereas this zooplankton, they eat upon algae, bacteria, protozoa, and other invertebrates. This zooplankton also act as bioindicators. So only rotifer, these species, they are found mainly in polluted lakes. So rotifers, they are like Rotifera, Cladocera, Copepoda, and Ostracoda. Mainly rotifers are found in polluted lakes. Next is fishes. Fishes are good indicators of water quality and health of ecosystem. The fish diet consists of aquatic insects, zooplankton, plants, and other fish. Then whereas fish serve as food for other fishes. So means planktivorous fishes are eaten up by carnivorous fishes. Then also they are food for herons, eagles, turtles, bear, wildlife, and humans. So zooplanktons and other planktons, phytoplankton, they serve as food for fishes. So these are some fishes commonly found in our lakes. That is Labirohita, also called rohu in Kannada. Then Ureochromis niloticus and Ureochromis mozambicus, called jalebi in Kannada. Then Katla, commonly called as Katla. Then Gambusia affinis, this is a very small fish found in the lakes, which helps in mosquito control. So it eats up the mosquito larvae and have a check on the control on the mosquitoes. So you can go to this web link. Let's know your freshwater fishes by Cincy. So she has talked about the identifying features of fishes. So fishes can be identified using their features like the mouth, eyes, then gills, fins, etc. So Cincy has talked about all those identifying features and the main threats faced by the fishes and its conservation measures. So you can go through this link and find out. Next is macrophyte. So if you see some plants in the lakes, they are macrophytes. So macrophytes are the aquatic plants that dominate in wetlands, shallow lakes, and streams. So they are of four main types. That is emergent plants, then floating leaf attached plants, then free floating plants, and submerged plants. So for some examples of polygonal species, Bacopa moneri, Typha, Alternanthera, Iconia, Colocasia, and Elbonucifera. This Alternanthera is called Sapu in Kannada, and this Alternanthera and Colocasia, they also come as food for in our plates. So this for this emergent plants, this emergent plant, for example, is Typha species. Then free floating plants, they freely float in water. Their roots are not attached anywhere, so they freely float in water. For example, is Iconia. Then floating leaved attached plants, their roots will be attached to the bottom, whereas their leaves will be floating and flowers. Like example is our lotus and lily, that is Nelumbo nucifera, is an example of floating leaved attached plants. The submerged plant, it will completely submerge in water. We cannot see if we go nearby to the lake only, we can see this submerged plants. They will be completely immersed in water. One example is hydrilla. So this macrophyte also, they are also acting as bioindicator. So it also shows the heavy metal contamination in the lakes. And also if the water is polluted, if there is high turbidity, herbicide or salinity, then this macrophyte community will also be affected. So you can go to this web link wherein Sudarshan has talked about know your macrophytes, wherein he has discussed about all the varieties of macrophytes, all the 4 categories, and then he has shown the habitat conditions and also the characteristic features that you can easily identify how the macrophytes in various lakes, and also he has talked about the bioremediation aspects of macrophytes. So this picture shows the that this is a clean lake and this is a polluted lake. So I just meant to say that these both all these parameters, biological parameters like phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish and macrophyte will be different in clean lake as well as in polluted lake. So seeing the composition of this phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish and macrophyte, we can tell whether water is polluted or not. Means they are act as bioindicators and helps in biomonitoring experiment. So the algae or zooplankton, fish and macrophyte which is found in polluted lakes can never grow which is if algae, zooplankton, fish and macrophyte which grows very well in clean lakes can never grow in polluted lakes. So seeing the composition of all these biotic components, we can say whether water is polluted or not. So what students that the projects that students can take is one is water quality analysis of lake. Another is the documentation of all these biological components, like they can look the water birds, then phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish and macrophyte, and then first you have to collect all these. So water birds you need not collect. The phytoplankton, zooplankton, then fish and macrophyte samples you can collect. Then you can identify that, and if possible you can take pictures of it and then do a biodiversity documentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sulabha, for that enlightening session on the all the types of biotic components in an aquatic ecosystem. So I hope you all have understood what are the different components that you get in the biotic components that you get in a lake, and how to document them, and also where you can find the information for a secondary research project also. So I thank Sulabha on behalf of the Lake 2020 organizing committee. And now I welcome Dr. T.V. Ramchandra sir to address all the questions that have been posted on the comments. So if you are still getting questions, you can continue posting them. We will try to answer all that has been posted already. And based on the time, we will be answering the other questions that will come up from now on as well. So I welcome TVR sir for answering the questions.
Okay, I'll start responding to the queries that is posed by many of you. The first one is by Sonu. So the question is, if we do secondary project, then again it will come under copy and paste work. So do we have rules to follow? Rule is that you should not do copy paste. You can collect the data, but you should interpret with the help of your teacher and present it. So that is not a copy paste. So you are also learning how to analyze the data. You should do it like many of the website we showed where to get the data of birds or the other details. So you should be able to compile that data. Okay. Then the next question is Prerana. I prefer to do research project. Do I have the option for that? even in the pandemic, I would like to gather the present facts and figures, collect the data and present my own ideas. Wonderful. Please go ahead and do that. If you need any help, you can ask your teacher, and also you can send a mail to Rijulal or me. We will respond to that. Okay. Then Lakshmi Harish asks, do we need to make a project on environment or on lakes? Probably this is at the initial stage. You didn't have the clarity. Now I think we have answered. Any component. See, this symposium is going to be an ecosystem. It could be water body, it could be the forest, it could be ocean, it could be atmosphere. You can pick up any topic. See, our objective is how far you have understood the topic and how far that will help in your career. Okay. Then Anand Krishna asks, where do I find the topics? Already we have given the details on the Google search. You can go to the various websites that Deepthi has cited, and all these talks are archived so that you would be able to download and go through it once again if required. Okay, so that will answer the queries. If you still have the problem, Anand Krishna, you are most welcome to write to us. Then Vishnu Reddy asks, can we take any one topic? Yes, you can take any one topic. If you want two, you can do two. If you want to do 100, I have no restriction, but I'll give only 8 minutes for presentation. In that 8 minutes, what you can present is most welcome to do that. Okay. Then Omkar asks, so let us say if I choose butterfly as a topic, what exactly should I write or research about it? You can say what kind of butterfly species are there, why they are there, how butterflies are important to us, whether it helps in pollination, all those aspects you can talk about it. There are a lot to, and also if you are interested in biomimicry, you can say how butterfly is helping in the design. So there are many things to do. You can choose the topic according to that. Okay. Then Ish is asking, could you please say the link where we get more information about butterflies? We have already, there is a talk by Chaturved, that is a webinar is there on butterflies. You can see that he has given a list of the website in addition to what Deepthi has given. Then the Raghunandan Devarakadu says that can we combine all the topics in our report? I didn't understand, Raghunandan, what all topic you want to combine. Certainly this should not be like a feed for cattle. So it's better if at your age, if you focus on one topic and understand that and present it, that would be good. So my advice to you at young age, don't try to combine too many things unless it's a collective team effort. If somebody is working on plankton, another person on zooplankton, and the third person fish and the bird, you can do. Or if you are taken up lake, you can combine all this and do the presentation. There is no harm in that. But don't take a forest, then the lake, then the ocean and everything and try to give some the picture of that. It may not be worth. Okay. So then Anant again asks the question, is there any specific region that we have to write about? For example, if I am writing about birds, can I write about any bird from India, or is it restricted only to Karnataka? There's no restriction. If you can go to Pakistan or Bangladesh or China or US, you can also do the data collection and come and do the presentation. There is no, say our objective is we want you to understand this concept so that tomorrow you will start thinking and worrying about ecosystem. That should happen after this conference or with this conference. Then Chaitanya asks, after preparing a poster, where should we post it? You can send it by email, the e-version. Then we will give the comment to improve that. Then you can send the hard copy to our address. The address is there in the brochure. You can ask your teacher. We have shared the brochure. In case you need the brochure, the copy, you can write to Rijulal. He will send you the e-version of that. Or if you are slightly enterprising, you can check on the internet. You will get the brochure at IISC website and also our group website. So then Prerana again asks another question. What all research should we submit for the evaluation and when? Again, Prerana, this is a very broad thing you are asking. If you choose one topic and concentrate, that would be wonderful. So you need to, as soon as you do it, you call us, because the conference is during 28th to 30th. We would like to finalize the evaluation by the first week of December. So we have started the evaluation of other schools. Your school came at the end. So if you can hurry up, that would be wonderful. Okay. Then Should we make up our own topic or present it to you? You can have your own topic. We have no issue as long as it's related to ecosystem, environment, water. Okay. Then Chaitanya, can we add videos in the PPT? You are most welcome to add the videos provided you can present it within 8 minutes. We will not give more than that. Then Lakshmi, do we need to make a PPT or should we write by ourselves? It would be easier for you if you do the PPT so that the presentation become more effective. You can also add pictures, the photographs what you have taken. So I would advise you to learn to prepare PPT and also learn to present with the PPT. Okay. Then Shobha asked, should we prepare a slide or do we have to write it down or convert it into PDF format, and where, when, and how to post our project? If you have prepared the PPT, I would suggest you to prepare the PPT so that you can edit it later. We'll have another level of evaluation. At that time, whatever session given, you can incorporate in your PPT and then submit the PPT to our the email. We will share the email or we will provide the link where you have to post it. Okay. Then Shobha asked, where do we post it? So you have to post it to the conference email ID. So lake2020.iic.at gmail.com. Okay. Then Rammurthy asked, should we prepare PPT slide for our selected topic? Can you also brief about maps? Why should we add maps and what is the use of it? So I think you were quite attentive when Bharat talked about maps. He told you about the importance of the map. Map depicts your study region so that we will know the study region you have chosen, where you have chosen, what scale is the thing. You can draw the map. You can use the Google Earth. You can use the various the tools what Bharat has talked about it. So from that you can use the thing. But only the thing is follow the protocol. You need to have the direction, scale, etc. marked on the map. Okay. So should we draw the maps and present it in our PPT or should we take it from Google directly? You can do that. You can take it from Google as long as it is pertains to your study area. Don't put some map of some other region. We do not like to listen about other maps. Only your study area would be useful. Okay. Then Prerna asks, can I choose a particular lake and submit a report on it? Yes, you can do that. There is no restriction on lake. You can choose a lake near your home. You can choose a lake near your school. Or if you want to choose a school, if you want to choose a lake near my home, that is also fine. As long as you are able to monitor and compile the data and present it, we have no problem with that. Then Prerana asked, should we only take lakes near our school campus or any lake? I said any lake, including the lake in US or Canada. If you want to study that, you can do that. There is no restriction as long as you can compile the data in the stipulated time and do the presentation. That is wonderful. So if you take a farther away, then you may have to travel and there is a lot of other restriction because of the COVID. Okay. Then Lakshmi asked, do we need to draw a map or can we directly take from Google Earth? So I think I have answered this question. You can draw your map and you can put it in PPT, that digitized version, or you can take it from Google Map or Google Earth images. You can do that. Absolutely, there is no restriction. We are looking for your knowledge dissemination. When you do this project, you will become Jnani. So then we want to learn from you all. Youngsters teaching us, I will help us so that the rest of our life we can teach other youngsters. Okay, Tejas asked, if we do PPT on any particular topic, you said the procedure, but can you explain it by taking example? I did a presentation of that, no? I talked about objective, study area, method, all those things. If you do Google search, no, TVR talk, you will get many of my talks. You can download, you will get all the details. If you still have a doubt, you send an email to me, or Rijo, we will do a special orientation program for you. Okay, how to prepare slides and also how to present it. Chaitana asked, can we do a PPT on medicinal plants? Wonderful, Chaitana. Please do it. If you can also tell about how this medicinal property can be useful in addressing the pandemics like the COVID. Lakshmi, can you say what is the procedure for doing in PPT? This is a difficult thing. The PPT is the tool you can download. I think you know the MS Word product, or if you are using Linux, there are also Office tools are available. You can download that. You can activate the PowerPoint and then create there is an option to create a new slide. You can create it and start the thing. In case you are facing some problem, you let us know. Your teacher will help you certainly. Otherwise, we can help you. Then Manju asked, can we do the projects on butterfly? Wonderful, you can do it. The butterflies of Bangalore, butterflies in your school, you can do that. And also what kind of host plant the butterfly looks for and what are the benefits of butterfly, you can talk about it. Then Sonu is back again asking, can we do PPT about spiders? You can do on spiders. You please understand spiders, their role in the ecosystem, how they are helpful to us. You can discuss all those things. So we also had a small presentation that is available in the webinar by the Shraddha. Okay. Then Prasanna asks, where is the program held? Where should we post our project and how? Prasanna, this is like somebody asking me after listening to Ramayana, what is the relationship between Rama and Sita? You know, I had initially showed my slide, started with things saying, inviting you all to Indian Institute of Science. Indian Institute of Science is located in Bangalore. This symposium would be in the auditorium, Biological Sciences Auditorium at Indian Institute of Science. So you will have an opportunity to come to Indian Institute of Science and do the presentation. This is a #1 institute, research institute in the country. We are on the top. At a young age, you have an opportunity to come to enter the campus of the World 1 class, the institute. Okay. Then Gagan is asking, can we take information from other sites on a topic also by using data given by your group? Yes, your thing is not present what we have presented. You should synthesize, and if you can interpret that, that means you have understood the topic. You are if you are able to do that, you are most welcome to do that. Then next question is, if we take up birds, can we visit a sanctuary, take pictures and explain about its role in ecosystem? So you can visit the bird if there's a time, and if you can travel, you can do that. But if you otherwise your locality or near your school, you can take it up and do it. Or if you want Bannerghatta, you can go and do that. Okay, since you are closer to Bannerghatta. Then Sonu is again, will the time limit be same for poster presentation? The poster presentation we will give 4 minutes, while the PPT presentation is 8 minutes. Okay, for the oral presentation 8 minutes plus 2 minutes for the the discussion, question and answer session. Whereas the 4 plus 1 for the poster. Then Prasanna asks, can we do this project in group? You can do individually or you can do it in a project. Only thing is, if you do it in a project, when the award, the prize comes, you all 5 of you have to share that, or 3 of you have to share it. If you are willing to share, you can do it this one. If you are not willing to share the certificate and this one, then you need to do it independently. Nirantara asks, can I select microorganism as a topic for the project? How should I move ahead? This is very good. You can choose the bacteria, virus, algae, anything, any microorganism, you can do it. Or if you want to talk about COVID-19, how it originated and how it can be addressed, you are most welcome to do it. The literatures are available. Today you are lucky because of the COVID. Many studies people have carried out. You should be able to download and read that. Okay. Then MM asks, how many slides or pages maximum or the minimum should we make? We have given the time limit of 8. In 8 minutes, if you can present 8 slides, that is fine. If you can present 16 slides, that is also fine. If you try to do 100 slides, then that become a misery. I would request you not to do that. Okay. When should we present you the presentation? By what date should we send you the presentation? So we will talk to your teachers, and most probably in the last week of November or in the first week of December, we'll have the evaluation program. So please plan to do a good job so that you will have an opportunity to meet many individuals in IISC, the experts, and also you will have an opportunity to spend few days in IISC campus. Okay, so 3 days at least you can this one. Then Asma asked, sir, you said about the zoonotic disease. How can we protect ourselves from the disease? See, zoonotic disease came to us because we did the deforestation. Wild animals came home. With the wild animals, the associated virus and bacteria also came to us. For example, if you look at the Shimoga and Uttara Kannada district, there is something called monkey fever. That has come from the virus that is there in the ticks, which are resident in monkeys, got into the human. Why did monkeys came to human? Because people deprived the monkey of the food by changing the forest vegetation. They removed the native species which give the food to the monkeys. They changed it to either rubber plantation or eucalyptus. In the process, what happened? Monkey didn't get the food in the forest. Naturally, they came to your kitchen. When they came to your kitchen, they talked to you, and then in the process, the tick which was there in the monkey silently sitting the thing that has bitten the humans. When that has happened, the virus got into the human. In the process, the people every year I see around 100 to 200 people getting killed because of that. Okay. So Manju asked, sir, in 8 minutes, can we do 2 topics in brief? It is your talent. If you can do 100 topics, you can do it. My advice to you in 8 minutes, since you will be tense when you are talking to experts like Sri Ravi Shankar, it's better to stick to one topic. Okay. So then MM asks, when we show the map of the study region, should we use a picture or should we draw? Also, can we show many areas for individual examples to explain a certain family of animal? You can do that. You can use the map. You can use the picture. You can draw, or else you can put the Google image also. And for individual examples also you can do that. We have no restriction on that. Then Gagan asks, can we do PPT on any one animal or any one bird? So we leave it to you. If you are talking about behavior of a particular animal, you can stick to one animal. If you are talking about the community, you can have this. Depends on your topic. Accordingly, you can do that. Okay. Then there is can we take up topic on these, and can you give some tips about the topics? The bees is it's an interesting topic, because you know that when you see the last bee on the earth, no, you will not have the food after that. That means if bees existence is linked to the humans, and working on bees is good, because the diversity of bees also decides the pollination in the region. In the process, it also decides the agriculture productivity. So it's an interesting topic. There are web pages wherein many details are available on the types of the bees and all. And for your information, there was a talk by Professor Akshay Chakravarti. He focused on the insects, okay, bees, etc. I would suggest you to go to that YouTube and download that webinar thing, what Dr. Bharat Satur showed, and also Sinsi Sulabha, our Germans also showed the thing. So that web link, you please access that. In any event, we will again send that web link of the webinars to all of you, so you can also access that. Okay. So I think I have answered almost all the queries. So if there are any other queries, then we will try to. Can we meet the space scientists when we arrive in IISC? See, you are already meeting space scientists. I am working with the space only. So I work with using remote sensing data. Already Bharat works with the remote sensing data. We are all ecosystem scientists, and also space is a part of our life. You can meet us. So certainly you can meet the aerospace. Most probably you would have talked about aerospace department. You can meet them also. There is no problem. We can introduce you to the aerospace department. You can do that. Okay. So this is the question by Chetana. You should be this one. See, the ecosystem is a diverse topic. Space is a part of it. So you can enjoy the space also. Many experiments what you do in the ecosystem, you can take it to the spacecrafts also. Okay. So any other questions? Okay. If there are no questions, I would advise you all to be safe. When you go to the market, please wear the mask. When you talk to your parents and brothers, please wear mask. Do not expose anyone to the contamination. And also try to keep yourself away from others, and make sure you are also away from others. Okay, when you talk to your teachers or your parents or anyone in the this one, you can do that. Okay. Can we carry mobile to IISc and take pictures with you, sir? My picture is already available online. So you can do that. So you can bring the camera and you can take a picture, no problem. You should be able to do that. I do not use mobile, so I will use also teach me how to use mobile. So and then I'll allow you to take the photographs. Okay. So this is Mr. Gagan Ishwant has asked the question. Okay. So can it be a group project? I think I have answered already. So we will give a certificate, and if the project wins the prize, then you have to share the prize. So that's where you decide. I don't want conflict later. I would advise one is ideal, two is good, three is slightly bad. Okay, you decide accordingly. Okay. Then Ashok Kumar asked, should we take only one medicinal plant or we can go even? You can go to any number of medicinal plant. You can start with Tulsi, end with the Emlika, the Nellikai, you can talk about it. So there is no restriction on that as long as you are able to present it and talk about the phytochemical aspects and how it will solve the problem. If you should highlight, you should not tell like somebody like the having the turmeric in your milk will remove the cough. You should say what does turmeric consist of and how it solves the problem of cough and cold, etc. So that is the way you can improve this one than the general knowledge. I would advise you to emerge as a budding scientist. Please start thinking from today. When you start thinking at your young age, you will become highly successful in your career. I want you to, and we all look forward to a sensible youngsters the contributing to the nation building. So when you take an active part in events like this is not just a one more event for the sake of event we are organizing. It also helps in you understanding the various aspects of the Mother Earth. When you understand Mother Earth, you will start respecting Mother Earth. The day when you start respecting Mother Earth and Mother at home, you will be highly successful in your career and you will be the happiest person on the earth. Okay. I wish you the success in all your the projects, and you can come forward with the interesting thing. Can I do project about space plants? How will you collect the space plants? I do not understand this question. If you are able to collect, you are most welcome to do it, Sonu. So I'll put all my efforts to meet you all soon, sir. Thank you so much. No, you don't have to, because I keep coming to your school. So if you are so keen, you let us know. I will tell the principal to inform you, Prerana, so that you can meet us. Okay. And I was in your school last Saturday. We met Harish as well as Mr. M.A. Khan in his school. So we had come again 3 days back. I visited Varthur and Balandur. So we will come to you. I do not want you to get exposed to the COVID situation. Okay. Oh, there is a, can I get website link for about space flight? Oh, that is difficult. I have to create the website. So no. So maybe the next I will start thinking about it after interacting with you. As of now, my exploration is only in Western Ghats and Himalayas. See, when I was young, I started working in Western Ghats. As I actually aged, people send me to Himalaya. Now I have come back to Bangalore. So I can talk about these three regions, and I have created the database for these three regions. Space plants, when I take up that journey, I will do that. Okay. I will send you the details. So till then you have to wait. Okay. Certainly, I will provide you the detail, but it will take some time. Okay. But for this lake symposium, I would advise you to restrict yourself to the terrestrial plants. Okay. Or the aquatic plant. Space plant, let us discuss later. When I visit that place, no, I will send you a SOS of the details. Okay. With photographs and all those things. Okay. So I hope I have answered all the queries. So if there are any queries, please write to us lake2020.iic@gmail.com. So you can write to us. We enjoyed your session, and I hope you all will be the session. And our Deepthi also said, restrict yourself to Earth, because all of us have taken birth on Earth. Let us understand Earth first, then we'll think about space when we move to that place. Okay. So I think with this I conclude, and I request Riju to have the final words and conclude the session. Come, Riju.
Thank you very much, sir, for patiently answering all the long list of questions that were posted by our students and teachers. So I thank all the resource persons today for taking their time off from their research and spending time here with all of us to enlighten and give information about various topics on which you can collect information, do primary research, and do a project for the Lake Symposium and further studies as well. And I thank all the management of the schools for allowing the students to take part in this conference in spite of all the COVID, and have been keeping a lot of screen time for all of you. So in spite of that, allowing you all to participate in this conference and orientation program is really appreciable. And I personally thank Harish sir and M.A. Khan sir for taking time off and gracing the occasion online and addressing all of you. And even now, M.A. Khan sir, since he could not join you in the morning and he just sent a video. Right now, he tried to join, but due to some technical issues, he is unable to speak to you all. I'm sure you will see him during the conference or during the evaluation. So we will wait for that. And I thank all the teachers for coordinating with the students and encouraging students to take time off and participate in this orientation program and do the projects henceforth. And finally, and most importantly, I thank all of you students for deciding to participate in this conference, which has the potential to change your life. So the way you look at things is going to change with this conference, and I'm sure I'm one of the participants who did that few years back. And similarly, you will take the path, and someday, you never know, you might end up working at IISC here in the place where I am sitting today. So I wish you all the very best, and I thank you all, everyone today, for participating in the program, the resource person, teachers, principals, then the management and all the students. I thank you one and all and wish you all the best. Thank you, and we'll sign off. And any queries, you can always reach us in the email through your personal email address or your teacher's email addresses. Thank you all.